Chapter 1355. Athens, located in Greece, was an ancient city filled with myths and legends. It was even known as the cradle of Western civilization. Lin Tian led the White Tiger and two Cien into Athens. Soon, they arrived at a huge ancient castle. The ancient castle occupied a large area. It had a majestic aura that was intertwined with the fluctuations of time. This inheritance is indeed very old. Lin Tian. The aura of time intertwined with the ancient castle was very strong. It had at least 100,000 years of history. He couldn't help but sigh. This aqua-blue planet was far from what people in the current era knew. Its history was frighteningly long. He paused for a moment, then led the White Tiger and two Cien into the ancient castle. "Sir, is there a problem? No one is allowed to enter this place." There were people guarding outside the ancient castle. They were dressed like modern people. Seeing Lin Tian approaching, one of them came forward to stop him. Lin Tian could naturally see that this person was a cultivator in the divine pulse realm. He didn't say much. His footsteps didn't change, but a faint light flashed in his eyes. The people who came forward to stop him and the others guarding outside the ancient castle suddenly became absent-minded. No one stopped them, and they all made way for the three of them. Soon, the three of them entered the ancient castle of the Arthur clan. The ancient castle was very spacious. There were ancient pavilions and other things. The spiritual energy intertwined with each other was also very extraordinary. Who is it? There were many disciples of the Arthur clan walking around in the ancient castle. Seeing Lin Tian and the other two walk into the ancient castle so casually, one of them immediately stood up and shouted. However, in the next moment, the disciple of the Arthur clan who asked the question changed his expression. He stared at Lin Tian and stepped back. It's you." This person pointed at Lin Tian and couldn't help but tremble. Not long ago, there was news from the Holy See that the Eastern punitive expedition to the Central Plains had been completely annihilated by a young man from the Central Plains. There was also news about the appearance of Lin Tian, who had killed 3 groups of Eastern punitive expedition. All the Western orthodoxies knew about this. At this moment, the disciple from the Arthur clan saw Lin Tian and immediately recognized him. At the same time, the other Arthur clan disciples in the ancient castle looked over, and their expressions changed when they saw Lin Tian. "You? How dare you intrude into the Arthur clan?" These people were shocked and furious. A group of Arthur clan disciples rushed out. All of them had extraordinary chi and blood. Many of them were already at the level of the Sea of Consciousness realm. In the current era of Earth, it was really extraordinary. When they looked at Lin Tian, their faces were filled with hostility. Many of their eyes were filled with murderous intent. "I don't believe that he is strong enough to kill 3 great expeditionary armies on his own," a young Arthur clan disciple at the peak of the Sea of Consciousness realm shouted. He pulled out a broadsword and rushed toward Lin Tian. With a clang, the sword hummed as it slashed toward Lin Tian's head. It was clear that he wanted to kill Lin Tian in one hit. Lin Tian didn't move at all. The man's broadsword shattered right in front of Lin Tian. Then, a powerful shockwave rippled out like water. The Arthur clan's disciple who was rushing towards Lin Tian was smashed into pieces and turned into a mist of blood. Instantly, the expressions of the Arthur clan's disciples changed. They were shocked and furious. "You! How dare you kill people in the Arthur clan? Damn it! Damn you, demon! You will be punished by the heavens." The Arthur clan disciples were furious. Tu Cien curled his lips. "Are all the people of the Western lineages so shameless? You came to the Central Plains and tried to invade our territory. Now that you're here, you have only yourself to blame. How dare you say that you will be punished by the heavens? How ugly. Little girl, you're inexperienced. You should know that villains are all like that." White Tiger clicked his tongue. Lin Tian did not say anything. Golden divine light intertwined around his body. His aura shook and turned into a hurricane that swept out in all directions. Many of them coughed up blood and trembled. Their faces were filled with fear. "Quick, inform the patriarch and elders." The evil cultivators of the Central Plains are attacking our clan. Someone shouted, "Who are you calling evil? You're the evil ones. Your entire clan is evil." Tu Xianxian raised his hand, and a sharp sword light cut off the head of the Arthur clan disciple. She was also a cultivator who had reached the immortal state. Her talent was extraordinary, and her combat strength was astonishing. Naturally, the average Arthur clan disciple could not stop her. "Ask the pretty girls of your clan to come out and greet me. I'll talk to them about life and ideals." White Tiger said. During his trip to the West, he had met many modern people and learned many words of this era. The Arthur clan disciples were both shocked and angry. Many of them were trembling. You just wait," someone said in a trembling voice. He ran into the depths of the ancient castle to inform the patriarch and elders of his clan. Lin Tian silently stood where he was and did not do anything else. "Kid, the Arthur clan has been around for a long time. They have many tricks up their sleeves. Are you confident that you can handle them?" White Tiger asked in a low voice. "Don't worry." Lin Tian was calm. He had even killed many celestial venerables in the 10-direction celestial domain. A small Arthur clan was nothing to him. He stood at this place, and very soon, several dozen breaths passed. A few tall figures walked out from the Arthur clan. Their blood and chi fluctuation seemed very thick and very intimidating. The one in the lead was a middle-aged man who was at the half-step Nirvana realm. Behind him, there were 8 other elders. All of them had extraordinary blood and chi, and their cultivation was at the peak of the great Tao realm. "Patriarch, elders." Seeing the middle-aged man and the 8 elders walk out, the Arthur clan disciples in the ancient castle were pleasantly surprised. After that, they looked towards Lin Tian. All of their eyes were extremely cold, as if they were looking at a corpse. "Man from the Central Plains, you've got guts." Among the 9 people who walked out, the middle-aged man in the lead had a cold voice. He was the current patriarch of the Arthur clan. At the same time, the other 8 elders of the Arthur clan also had emotionless gazes. Lin Tian swept his gaze across the people from the Arthur clan, and his gaze landed on the Arthur clan's family head. "Your Arthur clan sent people from West Earth to the East, vainly attempting to invade the mountains and rivers of Middle Earth. Are you tired of living? Or do you want to die? Or do you want your clan to be wiped out?" His voice was calm and indifferent, causing all the Arthur clan disciples to be furious. Their expressions were sinister. "How dare you? How dare you speak to our patriarch like that? Rude man from the Central Plains. You deserve to die." The Arthur clan disciples berated. Lin Tian's expression did not change, and his voice was very calm. "Little fox, kill all of them who spoke." "Yes, master," Tu Xianxian said. He led his immortal sword, and sword light filled the sky, directly attacking the person who spoke just now. Instantly, blood splattered, and ear-piercing screams sounded. In the blink of an eye, a few Arthur clan disciples died tragically. "Ah, damn it! Patriarch, save us!" The cultivation of these Arthur clan disciples was extraordinary, but compared to Tu Xianxian, they were undoubtedly much weaker. They couldn't block Tu Xianxian's sword at all. More than half of the people who spoke just now were killed by the immortal sword in an instant. "You're courting death." 2 cold glints flashed across the eyes of the Arthur clan's patriarch. He took a step forward and directly attacked Tu Xianxian. However, at the next moment, a loud slap rang out. The Arthur clan's patriarch, who had just taken a step forward, was directly sent flying. In an instant, the expressions of everyone in this place changed. "Patriarch!" These people were all shocked. The patriarch of their own bloodline was actually sent flying out all of a sudden. Even the 8 great Tao realm elders of the clan were moved. The cold expressions on their faces instantly turned into shock. One of the elders looked at Lin Tian. "You're the one who attacked. How dare you?" Slap! The slap was loud and clear. This person was sent flying. After rolling to the side, he couldn't stand up for a long time. This time, everyone in the Arthur clan was stunned. Many people couldn't help but tremble. They knew that it was definitely Lin Tian who attacked, but they didn't even see how Lin Tian attacked. From the beginning to the end, they didn't see Lin Tian make any movements. He just stood quietly on the spot. This made them feel very terrified. "Kid, your speed is not bad. I didn't even see you attack." The white tiger was surprised. It was floating beside Lin Tian and was at the 6th stage of the Nirvana realm. However, it didn't see Lin Tian attack either. This attack speed could be said to be shocking. In the distance, the Arthur clan's patriarch stood up. His eyes were filled with shock. Then, he revealed a vicious expression. "The people of Middle-earth are indeed very strong. It seems that the 3 expeditionary armies have indeed been killed by you. However, where do you think my Arthur clan is? Since you stepped into this place, no matter how powerful you are, you will die today. All of you will die." The man's eyes were cold. He raised his hand and formed a seal. In an instant, the ancient castle of the Arthur family trembled. Ancient runes intertwined, and a murderous aura filled the sky. It was as if an ocean of murderous aura had suddenly appeared, wanting to devour everything. It was terrifying and intimidating. Emperor-level killing array. The white tiger was shocked. On the other side, Tu Xianxian had killed all the Arthur clan disciples who had spoken before. At this time, his expression changed. Boom! In this place, the void shook and the murderous aura intertwined. Even the sky changed color. Emperor runes! Our clan's defensive array. In front of our clan's defensive array, everything is just dust. The disciples of the Arthur family shouted excitedly. Their Arthur clan had a long history. In the past, they had produced an emperor-level expert. The clan had been engraved with emperor runes. At this time, the runes were activated and covered the entire ancient castle. Boundless murderous aura surged as if it was going to shatter heaven and earth. Under the emperor runes, turn into ashes, the Arthur clan's patriarch said coldly. Following his words, the boundless emperor runes vibrated. The dense murderous aura pressed down on Lin Tian. The void was instantly annihilated. Lin Tian's expression was indifferent. He didn't say anything. He raised his hand and pointed gently. Chapter 1356. The boundless killing light was annihilated, and the dense monarch inscription shattered. The Arthur clan, which was originally filled with killing intent, instantly regained its calm. Everyone trembled, and their expressions changed drastically. So powerful. Master, you're too exaggerated. Tu Xianxian stared with wide eyes. An emperor-level killing matrix had covered the entire Arthur's castle. Now it had been crushed with a light finger. Even the white tiger couldn't help but shrink its neck, shocked by this scene. The people of the Arthur clan were all trembling. Everyone was aghast. How is this possible? Those people were horrified. Their Grand Guardian formation had been destroyed so easily. This was something that they found hard to accept. However, no matter how hard it was to accept, it was the truth that was right in front of them. Damn it! Damn it! The patriarch of the Arthur clan was furious. An emperor-level protective killing formation, in this era, was priceless. It was an enormous deterrent force, yet now it was damaged by someone. This type of loss was just too great. Worship the Emperor altar. Summon the sword god to kill him. An elder roared. Kill him. The other elders also spoke. He must be killed. The Arthur clan patriarch roared. Immediately, with the middle-aged man as the leader, the other 8 elders chanted ancient incantations together. Their eyes were fierce. In the next moment, the entire Arthur's castle began to rumble. A cold and sharp aura rushed out from the depths of the castle. Then a stone sword flew out. The sword was about 2 feet long, and it was engraved with densely packed Tao inscriptions. What's the matter? A cold voice came from the sword, giving off a stifling feeling. The entire stone sword was intertwined with black light, and it was filled with demonic power. Supreme Sword God, an evil thief from the Middle-earth has broken into our clan and destroyed our Emperor array. Supreme Sword God, please kill the evil thief. The Arthur clan patriarch knelt on the ground and bowed to the stone sword. He was extremely respectful, as if he was worshipping a god. Supreme Sword God, please protect our clan and kill the evil enemy. Several elders and other ordinary disciples of this branch also bowed and paid their respects. Everyone was incomparably respectful. Above the ancient castle, the stone swords intertwined with demonic light, as if they had eyes. They moved slowly towards Lin Tian. To be able to destroy an emperor rank killing mark, interesting. Its godly soul must be very valuable. A cold voice came from the stone sword, like that of a devil emperor. An unparalleled sword might rippled out and instantly enveloped the surrounding space. Large cracks appeared in the void. The white tiger trembled. Looking at the approaching stone sword, it felt a little weak. Tu Xianxian could not help but shrink his neck. He whispered to Lin Tiandao, "Master, can we deal with this sword?" Although she was only at the connecting immortal realm, she could feel the terror of this stone sword at this moment. The Emperor's aura was too dense, as if a true peak emperor had been born. Her soul couldn't help but turn cold, as if it could explode at any time. "It's just a piece of trash. Destroy it and use it to trim your nails." Lin Tian was very calm. Once these words were spoken, the Arthur clan was instantly furious. "How dare you? How dare you be so disrespectful to our clan's supreme sword god? You should be killed 10,000 times." The members of the Arthur clan shouted. At the same time, a cold snort came from the Arthur stone sword. Demonic light burst out of the sword, and an unparalleled sword might enveloped the surrounding space. "Insolent brat." Its voice was cold. Lin Tian was too lazy to talk nonsense with it. With a wave of his left hand, he directly pulled it over from the distance and grabbed it in his hand. The Arthur stone sword trembled, and the weapon spirit inside cried out, "You let go!" It shouted. Its entire body emitted demonic light, and its sword light rushed into the sky, shattering large pieces of the void. It wanted to break free from Lin Tian's left hand. However, it was useless. Lin Tian's hand was like a heaven-splitting saint treasure. It tried its best to break free, but it could not. Lin Tian held the Arthur Emperor's sword. His right hand flicked the sword, and a mini four symbols Tao diagram entered it. "Ah!" A shrill scream came out from the stone sword. In the next moment, the entire sword became silent. The weapon spirit inside was crushed by the four symbols Tao diagram. "Take it and trim your nails." Lin Tian on Tao threw the stone sword to Tu Xianxian. Tu Xianxian caught the stone sword. His hands trembled, and the Arthur stone sword almost fell to the ground. Just now, Lin Tian said that the Arthur stone sword was just a random stone, and that he would give it to her to trim her nails after destroying it. She did not expect that he would really destroy the weapon spirit inside the Arthur stone sword in the blink of an eye, and then throw it to her to trim her nails. Her eyes widened, and her face was filled with disbelief. This was an emperor's sword that contained a weapon spirit. It was a heavenly treasure, and Lin Tian destroyed its weapon spirit so easily. What kind of strength did he need to do that? "Are you really giving it to me?" Her eyes were filled with shock, and she asked Lin Tian carefully. After all, this was not an ordinary heavenly treasure, but an emperor-level heavenly treasure. Even if the weapon spirit was destroyed, the heavenly treasure's power was still the same. It was just that it could not attack on its own. Lin Tian nodded and did not say much. It was just a low-grade heavenly treasure. To him, it was nothing. Tu Xianxian was overjoyed. "Thank you, Master." She hugged the Arthur stone sword, overjoyed. The value of such an ancient weapon was too great. The white tiger's eyes widened. After a moment of shock, it cried out, "Kid, you're biased? I want it too." Lin Tian glanced at it. "What's the rush? Didn't the Millet clan say that they have the Zhong Emperor staff? I'll give it to you later." With that, he walked toward the Arthur clan leader and the others. You. The Arthur clan leader trembled, the elders trembled, and all the Arthur clan members trembled. At this moment, they were completely terrified. Their clan's emperor-level heavenly treasure, their strongest foundation, had its weapon spirit destroyed so easily and taken away. To their clan, this was a nightmare. "You? What are you doing?" Seeing Lin Tian walking toward him, the Arthur clan leader trembled and retreated. His eyes were filled with fear. Lin Tian raised his hand and grabbed him. What are you guys trying to do by invading the famous mountains in Heartland? He felt that it was a little strange that the Western Orthodoxies suddenly wanted to invade the famous mountains in Heartland. The Arthur clan leader trembled. For the immortal opportunity. Immortal opportunity? What immortal opportunity? Lin Tian frowned. I don't know. The Arthur clan leader trembled. Lin Tian's eyes turned cold. You don't know? The Arthur clan leader was so scared that he broke out in cold sweat. The fear in his eyes became even stronger. As for what immortal opportunity it is, I really don't know. It was the Archbishop of the Christian Church who came and said that there would be a change in the world. Every famous mountain would be an unparalleled, immortal opportunity. They're the most famous mountains in Heartland, and he asked us to work together to seize them. It's true. That's all I know. Lin Tian frowned. He scanned this person with his divine sense and discovered that he wasn't lying. He really only knew that much. He snorted and shook his divine power. He didn't show any mercy and directly shattered the Arthur clan leader. Clan leader. Everyone from the Arthur clan trembled. Their clan leader was killed in their clan, just like that. The mountains and rivers of Heartland aren't so easy to invade. You guys have to pay a price for extending your hands to Heartland. Lin Tian's voice was cold. As he spoke, he waved his hand, and sword light swept out, killing all the grand elders of the great Tao realm in this branch. He also destroyed the few celestial veins underground in this branch. Then, the four symbols Tao diagram rushed out, enveloping the entire Arthur clan. Buzz! The four symbols Tao diagram trembled and scattered. Wisps of divine light quickly entered the bodies of all the Arthur clan members. These Arthur clan members didn't appear to be injured at all, but they soon began to tremble. Cultivation, my cultivation, it's gone. My true essence is gone. You crippled us? The Arthur clan members were terrified and in despair. All of them had lost their cultivation at this moment. Even the foundation of their cultivation had been destroyed. Even if they had heaven-defying treasures, they would never be able to step onto the path of cultivation again. In the future, they could only live the rest of their lives as mortals. Even the White Tiger and Tu Xian were wide-eyed, crippling all the Arthur clan members in an instant. This method was terrifying. Brat, you're ruthless. The White Tiger bared his teeth. Ruthless? Lin Tian snorted. I'm already being merciful by not directly exterminating their clan. Territory, mountains, and rivers were where the dignity of a country lay. No matter which world it was in, there was no exception. These people had invaded the Central Plains from the west, trying to seize the famous mountains and rivers of the Central Plains. This was a slap to the face of the Central Plains, trampling on the dignity of the Central Plains. He had already been merciful by letting them pay such a price. Devil, you devil. Damn you. The Arthur clan was in despair. In just an instant, their entire clan had been crippled. Invading our territory. You have the ambition of a wolf. You deserve it, Tu Xian said. Lin Tian glanced coldly at these people, then called Tu Xian and White Tiger out. Soon, they were tens of thousands of feet away from the Arthur castle. Master, you're amazing. Tu Xian hugged the heavenly treasure Arthur sword, his eyes shining. By the way, who is Grandmaster? He actually taught Master to be so powerful. I already said that I'm not your master, and my master is not your Grandmaster. Lin Tian glanced at him and said, also, don't use the word taught. It's weird. Master, you're being arrogant. Don't be like this. I'll just acknowledge you as my cute disciple. Tu Xian said. His ability to act spoiled and shamelessly was a complete mess. Lin Tian was speechless. He did not say anything else and walked in the other direction of Athens. After this, an hour quickly passed. At this time, Lin Tian led the White Tiger and Tu Xian to another ancient castle in Athens. This ancient castle was about the same size as the Arthur clan's ancient castle. It was intertwined with an extremely rich aura of time, appearing simple and unadorned. Millet clan brat, don't forget this tiger's heavenly treasure, White Tiger said, his eyes shining. Chapter 1357. The Millet clan and the Arthur clan were both top cultivation clans in the West. Naturally, there were guards outside the clan. Seeing Lin Tian and the others approaching, someone immediately stepped forward to stop them. "Mister, this is private property. You are not allowed to enter. Lord Tiger and the others have come from the West. Let your clan head come out to welcome them. Also, bring out the heavenly treasure and present it to Lord Tiger." The white tiger bared its teeth arrogantly. The expressions of the Millet clan members guarding outside changed. Lin Tian didn't waste any words. Golden divine light spread out and turned into a hurricane that sent the Millet family's disciples flying. At the same time, the Millet family's main gate was also shattered, sending debris flying everywhere. Suddenly, the Millet clan members inside the Millet clan were alarmed. "Who is it? How dare you destroy the Millet clan's gate? You're courting death. No matter who it is, we must kill them." The group of Millet clan's disciples were furious. However, in the next moment, when they saw Lin Tian and the others coming from outside the Millet clan, their expressions changed. "Man from the Central Plains, it's you." Like the Arthur clan, the Millet clan members naturally knew Lin Tian. At this time, they recognized Lin Tian. "You, how dare you break in here and destroy the Millet clan's gate? You're courting death." These people were shocked and angry. Lin Tian stepped into the Millet clan. His expression was calm and indifferent. Golden divine light spread out and sent everyone flying. Then a golden sword light appeared beside him and rushed straight into the depths of the Millet clan. Boom! Suddenly, a huge trench was cut in the Millet clan's ancient castle. The pavilions were destroyed one after another. "Who is it?" A cold voice sounded. Several figures rushed out from the depths of the Millet clan. They were the clan head and several elders of the Millet clan. The fluctuations of blood and divine power intertwined around their bodies were shocking. The weakest of them was at the Grand Dao realm. "Clan head, elders, it's that man from the Central Plains. Rumor has it that he killed 3 great expeditionary armies." A disciple of the Millet clan shouted. The Millet clan head and several elders were all moved. Their gazes fell on Lin Tian, and then they were shocked to discover that it really was that legendary Central Plains cultivator who had killed 3 of the Eastern Punitive Expedition's armies. He had actually barged in here. The Millet family patriarch glared at Lin Tiandao coldly. "You're so big, clang." The sound of the sword was ear-piercing, and a golden sword ray flew past, directly piercing through this person's forehead, killing him on the spot. "Ma, patriarch." Everyone in the Millet family had a change of expression. They trembled violently as they were frightened by the scene before them. The strongest patriarch of their clan, who was at the half-step to Nirvana stage, was actually killed so easily. The elders of this branch were trembling, their faces filled with shock. "You all have a part to play in the East invasion of the Central Plains. You will be punished accordingly." Lin Tiandao. As his words fell, the golden sword ray gushed out and clanged, directly killing the elders of the Millet family. These people did not even have time to react. For a time, the other disciples of the Millet family were completely terrified, and they could not help but tremble. The strongest group of people from their clan had actually been killed in an instant. "Kid, snatch the heavenly treasure," the white tiger said. Lin Tian looked at the depths of the Millet family, and with a wave of his hand, a golden divine light swept out, shattering a huge palace. Through the air, he grabbed a dark iron rod intertwined with divine light, raised his hand, and wiped away the weapon spirit inside, and then threw it to the white tiger. This was a low-grade heavenly treasure, and it was not a big deal to him. "Kid, you're really loyal. Master Tiger will follow you in the future." The white tiger grabbed the heavenly treasure-grade dark iron rod, and his mouth was about to split open. Lin Tian looked at the Millet family, raised his hand, and pressed down, crushing the emperor runes in the void of this clan, and destroying several immortal veins underground. Then, with a move of his mind, the 4 symbols Dao diagram emerged, enveloping everyone in this clan. In the blink of an eye, the sealing force intertwined, annihilating everything, causing the disciples of the millet family to tremble, and their faces changed wildly. Cultivation. Cultivation. Where is my cultivation? All the disciples of the millet family were frightened, and each of their cultivation disappeared without a trace at this moment. Then, all the disciples of the millet family looked at Lin Tian. You crippled us? Someone's voice trembled. Lin Tian glanced at these people indifferently, and then called the white tiger and the two Xian and walked out of the millet family. Millet family's little bastards. Master Tiger is leaving. Don't send me off. The white tiger laughed wildly. It was very happy to have obtained a flawless heavenly treasure. In the millet family, the disciples of the millet family were all ashen-faced, and everyone looked desperate. Their family head and elders were killed. Their heavenly treasures were taken away. Their emperor runes and immortal veins were destroyed, and their cultivation was crippled. Now, the millet family was no longer a family of cultivators, and the glory that had been passed down for countless years was completely gone. Lin Tian was very calm, and after walking out of the millet family, he did not look back, and soon he was far away from the millet family. He walked in the divine city of Athens like a leisurely tourist, walking through every corner of this divine city and comprehending the ancient Tao left behind by this divine city. Soon after, he walked out of Athens and headed northwest. His steps were very gentle. Not long after, he came to another divine city in the west, where the sage sect and the underworld of the west resided. He brought the white tiger and two Xian to this divine city. Without saying anything, he spread out his powerful divine will and quickly found the location of the sage sect and the underworld of the underworld. He killed his way in and killed all the high-ranking members of these two lineages. Then, just like what he did to the Arthur family and the Millet family, he crippled all the ordinary disciples of these two lineages. No! Cultivation! Give me back my cultivation! Demon! You damned demon! God will not forgive you! The disciples of the sage sect and the underworld of the underworld screamed in fear and despair. Lin Tian turned a deaf ear to their cries and left with a white tiger and two Xian. He walked out of this divine city and soon found several other Western orthodoxies that participated in the Eastern Punitive Expedition. He killed all the high-ranking members of these orthodoxies and then destroyed the foundations of these orthodoxies and crippled everyone's cultivation. So far, he had crippled a total of 8 Western orthodoxies that participated in the Eastern Punitive Expedition. Master, where are we going next? Tu Xian asked. The Roman Curia. Lin Tian Dao. Are we going there on foot? The Roman Curia is very far from here. Tu Xian said. No problem. We have plenty of time. Lin Tian Dao. Tu Xian nodded. I'll listen to you, Master. Then she flashed her 5 tails and asked Lin Tian Dao, Master, do you want to touch them? They're really comfortable. Lin Tian Dao was speechless. He really couldn't be bothered to say anything. He just walked forward on his own, stepping onto the surface and heading towards the Holy See. On the second day after he destroyed the 8 lineages, the news of him destroying the Arthur family, the Millet family, the Sage sect, and the underworld of the underworld spread. In the blink of an eye, the entire Western cultivation world was shocked. 8 lineages were all destroyed by that man from the central region. How is this possible? The Arthur family, the Millet family, the Sage sect, and the underworld of the underworld were among the 8 lineages. Didn't they all have Emperor-level killing arrays and Emperor-level weapons to protect them? How could they all be destroyed? This is impossible. The Western cultivation world was shocked. Many people did not believe it and went to see for themselves. Then, they saw the dispirited and miserable state of the 8 lineages. The family heads, sect heads, elders, and other high-level figures were all killed. The treasured weapons that guarded the lineages of the families were taken away. The killing arrays and other protective arrays were also disintegrated. Then, all the people below the level of high-level figures of the 8 lineages were all crippled. The 8 lineages were really destroyed. Some people trembled. Is that man from the central region that powerful? He's just one person, and he can actually destroy the 8 lineages. He killed 3 groups of the Eastern Expedition Army, and then came all the way to the west, destroying the Arthur family, the Millet family, the Sage sect, and the underworld. Is he trying to take revenge? Is he trying to wash the Western world of cultivation with blood? Is our Western cultivation world going to face a disaster? Many Western cultivators' expressions changed. This time, many Western orthodoxies went to the central region in the east and provoked such a terrifying existence there. Now, he came to the west and destroyed 8 powerful cultivation lineages in the blink of an eye with his own strength. This kind of thing was really terrifying. The impact on the Western cultivation world was too great. For a moment, the Western cultivation world was completely disturbed. Many Western cultivators felt a strong sense of uneasiness. In the West, in an unknown mysterious space in a mythical ancient mountain. This space was very vast, and it was filled with godly palaces. It was like a real small world. It was very shocking. What? A furious voice came from one of the godly palaces in this space. There were a dozen figures standing in this godly palace. At this time, when they heard that Lin Tian had destroyed the lineages of several Western families in one day, their eyes were filled with shock, and their expressions turned ugly. Is that man from the Central Region so powerful? He's seriously beyond our expectations. The first 3 expeditionary armies died, and we've already wasted a lot of cultivator blood souls. We thought that after he entered the West, he would be quickly killed by the Sage sect's lineages and wouldn't affect our plan too much. I didn't expect that. This damned anomaly. When we investigated the Central Region, there was no such person. Where did he come from? The dozen people's faces darkened, and the auras outside their bodies were very terrifying. One of them said coldly, "We can only blame the lack of cultivators in the Central Region for not being able to collect enough cultivator blood souls. Otherwise, we wouldn't have to go through so much trouble to guide the lineages to the east." The dozen people fell silent for a moment. Then, dozens of breaths passed. In short, our estimation was wrong. We can't let him be. We have to take action. One of them, who looked like the leader, said, "Send someone to kill him immediately. Also, pay close attention to the Roman Curia. We can't let anything go wrong there." Lin Tian led the White Tiger and 2 Xianxian toward the Roman Curia. He was not in a hurry. In the blink of an eye, 7 days had passed. In the past 7 days, the Western cultivation world was still on tenterhooks. Lin Tian knew about this, but he did not care. Soon, another 3 days had passed. He led the 2 Xianxian and White Tiger to the west. They were not too far away from the Roman Curia. Boom! Suddenly, a figure appeared in the distant sky. The divine power outside his body surged as he rushed over quickly. It was an old man wearing a priest's robe. The aura outside his body was very shocking, and it shook the surrounding space. "Master, that's the leader of the Roman Curia." 2 Xianxian's expression changed. She was the top prodigy of the Green Hill Fox clan, so she naturally knew what the leader of the Roman Curia looked like. At this moment, she recognized him instantly. Lin Tian looked at the person rushing over from afar. His expression was very calm, and he stopped in his tracks. Whoosh! The sound of the air being torn apart was very ear-piercing. The leader of the Roman Curia, who was rushing over from afar, had obviously seen Lin Tian and the others. His speed increased, and in the blink of an eye, he was 100 feet away from the group. White Tiger looked at this old man. At such a close distance, he could feel the powerful aura outside his body. His hair could not help but stand on end. "Kid, this old man seems a little scary." Lin Tian's expression remained calm as he looked at this person. However, he was a little surprised in his heart. This person was a heavenly venerable level fighter, and his cultivation level was at rank 1 heavenly venerable level. In the west of this era, there are people of this level. He muttered to himself. As he muttered to himself, his expression did not change. He was still very calm. After all, this person was only a rank 1 heavenly venerable, and it seemed that he had just reached this level. To him, this person was nothing. Even a rank 9 heavenly venerable level fighter would be as weak as tofu in front of him. Friends from the Central Plains, I have no ill intentions. Please listen to me. Regarding the Eastern punitive expedition into the Central Plains, it was not the Roman Curia's intention, and it was not really the Roman Curia's guidance. There is a huge misunderstanding. This is a conspiracy of others. Chapter 1358. Lin Tian narrowed his eyes as he listened to the leader of the Holy See. Nothing to do with you? There are people from the Holy See in the Eastern punitive expedition. The head of the Arthur clan said that an archbishop from the Holy See personally came to guide the expedition to the Central Plains to fight for the various famous mountains so that they could seize the opportunity to become immortals. He looked at the leader of the Holy See with a cold expression. Now you're telling me that this matter has nothing to do with the Holy See? He had forcefully searched the head of the Arthur clan's consciousness and had indeed seen an archbishop from the Holy See visit them. Old man, are you afraid? The white tiger was a little afraid of the leader of the Holy See, but his words were merciless. That's right, are you afraid? Tu Xian was also merciless. The leader of the Holy See was dressed in a robe. He was an old man, but he was very energetic. He was very polite to Lin Tian and the others. Friends from the Central Plains, please listen to my explanation. Now let me apologize first. Although the Eastern punitive expedition was not really led by the Holy See, it was more or less related to the Holy See. Some people from the Holy See were also involved. I represent the Holy See in apologizing to the Central Plains. He continued, however, there really is a huge misunderstanding. As he spoke, the powerful leader of the Holy See propped up his emperor's small world and threw out a middle-aged man. The middle-aged man had a head of long golden hair and a very strong physique. However, it was obvious that he was suppressed by the seal. Lin Tian's eyes turned cold. Previously, he had used his powerful divine will to scan the head of the Arthur clan's consciousness. The archbishop from the Holy See, who had come to guide the Eastern punitive expedition and asked them to fight for the various famous mountains in the Central Plains, was this middle-aged man. The Lord of the Holy See opened his mouth and said, he was originally an archbishop of the Holy See. He was a very powerful and very competent partner. Previously, when I was in seclusion trying to comprehend the Great Path, I handed over all the affairs of the Holy See to him. Unexpectedly, during that period of time, the Lord of the Holy See's expression did not look too good. His soul was erased and his physical body was taken away. After the archbishop's physical body was taken away, he continued to manage the church in his place. He even secretly set up a seal at the place where the archbishop was cultivating in seclusion, preventing anyone from the church from approaching, saying that they would disturb his enlightenment. After that, he personally visited the Arthur family and a few other Western inheritances in the name of the church, guiding them to the east. Until the day before, when he had broken through the barrier of cultivation, his cultivation base had greatly increased, and his battle prowess had risen to a whole new level. He had broken through the seal of his seclusion and found out about the Eastern punitive expedition. He had immediately found the archbishop, whose soul and body had been destroyed, and discovered his abnormality. He had immediately suppressed him, and then personally came out to look for Lin Tian. The white tiger looked at the church leader and said, "Old man, are you trying to shirk your responsibility by fabricating such a story at this time?" "No, my friend from the Central Plains, I'm not lying at all." Although there were people from the church involved in the Eastern punitive expedition, it was not the church's true intention. It was despicable villains who used the church's name to guide them. They walk in the dark and do not appear in the world. No one knows about their power, and they are brewing a great conspiracy. The church leader's expression was urgent and serious. He looked at Lin Tiandao and said, "To prove it, I can open up my knowledge sea and let you search for me." As he spoke, he took a step forward, and a faint light intertwined between his eyebrows. He really did open up his knowledge sea without any defenses. Really? The white tiger was a little surprised. Naturally, opening up one's knowledge sea and allowing others to search was a very dangerous move for one's own body. This was because the knowledge sea involved too many things, and the soul was also in the knowledge sea. Without any precautions or restrictions, Allowing others' divine sense to enter one's knowledge, would result in many big secrets being discovered. What was even more frightening was that if others suddenly attacked one's spirit without any defenses, one's body would instantly be consigned to eternal damnation. Lin Tiandao looked at the church leader, and his eyes narrowed slightly. My friend from the Central Plains, fighting for your country's territory, I believe in your character. Please use your divine thoughts to prove the church's innocence. The church leader looked at Lin Tiandao and said, after that, we have a common enemy. We should work together to find the evil enemies hiding in the dark and punish them. Their actions are too despicable. Lin Tiandao's eyes flashed. On the surface, the church leader didn't seem to be lying. However, he didn't want to judge from the surface, so he didn't argue at this time. Okay, then I'll take a look. As he spoke, his divine thoughts vibrated and entered the church leader's knowledge sea. After that, dozens of breaths passed in the blink of an eye. His eyes narrowed again, and he withdrew his divine thoughts. Kid, how is it? The white tiger asked. Beside him, the two Xianxian also looked at Lin Tiandao. I'm not lying. Lin Tiandao. He used his divine thoughts of the origin to search the church leader's knowledge sea and saw many images. It was indeed as the church leader said. The white tiger and the two Xianxian were both shocked. In today's world, someone was secretly plotting against the most powerful church in the West. Who dared to be so bold? The church leader looked at the white tiger and the two Xianxian. His knowledge sea was still unguarded. He said, My two friends, you can search on your own. I won't take any precautions. Please believe in me, believe in the church. Boom. Suddenly, an extremely powerful wave of divine power appeared in the distant sky, interrupting the church leader's words. A tall, middle-aged man appeared in the distant sky. He was a standard Westerner. He was very fast, traveling in the void. In the blink of an eye, he arrived in front of Lin Tiandao and the church leader. There was a very terrifying Dao light intertwining around his body. Middle-earth and the Pope of the church, you've broken out of the seal. The middle-aged man was shrouded in a black robe. He looked at Lin Tiandao and the church leader standing together. Then, he saw the archbishop of the church beside the church leader's feet. His eyes suddenly turned cold. It seems that you already know some things. As soon as he said this, Lin Tiandao's eyes turned cold. The white tiger and the two Xianxian were also shocked. They were not stupid. Just from this person's words, they knew that this person was from the same force as the person who took the body of the archbishop of the church. They were using the church's name to lead the expedition to the east. They were brewing a conspiracy. Despicable dark people. The church will never let you go. The church leader stared at the middle-aged man in the black robe. His voice was filled with anger. With a boom, an extremely terrifying aura rushed out of his body, suppressing the void in all directions. At this moment, there was no doubt about his cultivation level. Celestial master level. The white tiger's expression changed. The two Xianxian was also shocked. This is the strength of the strongest person in the Western Church? He's actually in the celestial master level? She was shocked that there was such a powerful person in the West. The middle-aged man in the black robe's gaze fell on the church leader and revealed a trace of surprise. You've just made a breakthrough and reached stage 1 of the celestial masters. No wonder you could break the seal. As he spoke, his expression was still cold. But so what? It's nothing. As he spoke, there was a loud rumble, and his cultivation was fully activated at this moment. Overbearing divine power fluctuations surged and interweaved in all directions. He was much more powerful than the Lord of the Roman Curia, almost freezing the void. Instantly, the church leader's expression changed. The white tiger and the two Xianxian were also shocked. Stage 3 of the Celestial Masters? The white tiger trembled. In the blink of an eye, 2 celestial masters had appeared in front of them, a heavenly venerate powerhouse. That level was extremely terrifying. The middle-aged man in the black robe looked coldly at the church leader and said, I originally came to kill the people of the central mainland to prevent the eastern expedition from being hindered and affecting our plans. I didn't expect you to be here too. Since you've broken the seal and learned of some things, then let's die together. However, don't worry, I'll keep your physical body. After all, the name of the church is still very useful in the Western cultivation world. Many things will be much more convenient with your physical body and the Pope's orders. As he spoke, the man stepped into the void. His aura was like a rainbow as he walked step by step towards Lin Tian and the others. His voice was cold. The powerful pressure of a Stage 3 celestial master shrouded the surroundings. It was as if a god was patrolling the mortal world. He looked down at Lin Tian, the church leader, the white tiger, and the two Xianxian. All of you will die here. Our long-cherished wish will not be fulfilled. Slap. A loud slap was heard, directly interrupting the middle-aged man in the black robe. His body fell from the void. Instantly, the white tiger and the two Xianxian were stunned. The church leader couldn't help but be moved. The two Xianxian widened his eyes and looked at the place where the middle-aged man in the black robe had fallen. Just now he was slapped? An invisible slap. The white tiger looked at the astonished church leader, and his gaze fell on Lin Tian. Boy, this was done by you? The church leader was shocked. Then, the fall of the middle-aged man in the black robe was obviously not done by him, and the two Xianxian obviously couldn't do such a thing. Then, the white tiger remembered that Lin Tian had slapped the head of the Arthur family silently at the Arthur family. It immediately guessed something. No way. The white tiger looked at Lin Tian in shock. A Stage 3 celestial master was sent flying by Lin Tian's slap? Moreover, the white tiger still didn't see Lin Tian's movements clearly. Hearing the white tiger's words, the church leader's gaze also fell on Lin Tian. My friend from the central region, was it you who did it? He looked at Lin Tian in shock because he didn't see Lin Tian do anything at all. With a loud bang, the middle-aged man in the black robe rushed up from the ground. He was shocked and angry at the same time. The aura around his body became more terrifying, shaking the void. He stared at Lin Tian. You did it? Just now, when he was slapped down from the void, he vaguely saw a shadow. Although it was very blurry, it was very similar to Lin Tian. Get down here! Lin Tian's voice was cold. Invisible divine power surged out and shook the void. With a bang, the middle-aged man in the black robe was pressed down again and rolled to his feet. The middle-aged man in the black robe was shocked. You bang! Chapter 1359. The black-robed middle-aged man screamed as he coughed up blood. Lin Tian stepped on his chest, breaking all his ribs in an instant. The Lord of the Holy Sea, the White Tiger, and the two Xianxian were all shocked. The Lord of the Holy Sea was shocked. Just now, when the black-robed middle-aged man was pulled down from the void, he did not see anyone make a move. When he heard the White Tiger speculate that it was Lin Tian who did it, he was very surprised. Now, when he saw Lin Tian pull the black-robed middle-aged man down from the void and step on his body, he was really shocked. His face was full of horror, and his eyes could not help but flicker. One should know that the black-robed middle-aged man was a third-stage heavenly master, but in front of Lin Tian, he was so small. Damn it! Get lost! The black-robed middle-aged man roared. His whole body shone with divine light, and the terrifying heavenly master's aura was vast and mighty. Even the Lord of the Holy Sea, who was at the heavenly master level, could not help but tremble. Lin Tian looked down at the black-robed middle-aged man. His eyes were cold, and he did not care about the terrifying aura that the black-robed middle-aged man was exuding. His right leg, which was on the man's chest, shook slightly. Ah! The black-robed middle-aged man screamed, and blood gushed out of his mouth again. This scene made the white tiger and the others tremble again. Master so powerful. Tu Xianxian was shocked. This kid, how powerful is he? The white tiger trembled. Even the Lord of the Holy Sea could not help but be shocked again. A third-stage Empyrean powerhouse was now screaming miserably at Lin Tian's feet like a stray dog. The black-robed middle-aged man screamed, and the powerful divine power that he emitted was instantly shattered. He trembled, and blood gushed out of his mouth. At this time, When he looked at Lin Tian, his original cold arrogance turned into deep fear. He had come here to intercept and kill Lin Tian, who had disrupted their plans. He had never imagined that Lin Tian would be so powerful that even a level 3 Empyrean like him couldn't resist Lin Tian at all. Lin Tian's expression was cold and indifferent. A wisp of divine sense entered the other party's sea of consciousness and pulled out the memories of this person bit by bit. Immediately, many images appeared in the void of this place. Mount Olympus, divine feather sect, cultivator blood soul. He scanned the black-robed, middle-aged man's sea of consciousness with his soul consciousness and pulled out his memories. Little by little, he learned a lot of things. The other party was a high-level master of a force called the Divine Feather Sect. However, the Divine Feather Sect had never shown itself to the world. No one in this world knew of its existence, and now it was located at Mount Olympus. This sect had made all kinds of preparations in order to carry out a sacred sacrifice in the Central Plains. This sacred sacrifice required a large number of blood souls of cultivators who had just died as sacrifices. However, the number of cultivators in the Central Plains was insufficient, and the strength of their soul energy was also insufficient. It was far from being comparable to the current Western cultivation world, and was not enough to support this sacred sacrifice. Therefore, they thought of another method, which was to use the immortal opportunity of the Central Plains as bait to lure a large number of powerful cultivators from the Western cultivation world to the Central Plains. Then, they would use special methods to kill these Western cultivators who had entered the Central Plains and use their blood souls to support this sacred sacrifice. However, it would be difficult to use the name of the Divine Feather Sect to lure the Western cultivation world into the Central Plains. After all, they had never shown themselves to the world, and the Western orthodoxies would not listen to them. Therefore, they set their sights on the Roman Curia. With the Roman Curia's supreme status in the Western cultivation world, as long as the Roman Curia opened its mouth to say something like immortal opportunity of the Central Plains, the Western orthodoxies would not doubt it, and would rush to the Central Plains one after another. Therefore, a long time ago, this sect began to take action. A powerful cultivator, who was infinitely close to the level of a celestial master, killed the soul of an archbishop of the Roman Curia, seized his body, and set up a seal at the place where the master of the Roman Curia was cultivating in seclusion, and did not allow anyone to come close. Then, in the name of the Roman Curia, he visited the Arthur clan, the Millet clan, and the other Western orthodoxies, using the immortal opportunity of the Central Plains as bait to lure the Western orthodoxies into the Central Plains to seize the various famous mountains. In order to carry out this plan, this sect thoroughly investigated the Western cultivation world and the Eastern cultivation world, and knew clearly which powerful cultivators were in the two cultivation worlds and what level the most powerful cultivators were at. They thought that the plan would proceed smoothly, but they did not expect Lin Tian to appear in the Central Plains, a reincarnated body who had returned from the 10-direction sky domain. The delicate plan was immediately disrupted, and in order to not affect the plan too much, they sent the black-robed, middle-aged man to intercept and kill him. Those idiots from the Arthur clan and the underworld were tricked into going to the Central Plains to be sacrificed. The white tiger bared its teeth, and then its expression became serious. However, this Divine Feather Sect is vicious and insidious. They set the location of the **T sacred sacrifice in the Central Plains. Not to mention the cultivators from the Western Orthodoxy who invaded the Central Plains. All the cultivators in the Central Plains will be wiped out in an instant, and the ordinary mortals will not be spared and will suffer along with them. In the end, all the living beings in the Central Plains will probably die after the sacred sacrifice. Damn those dark beings. The church master's expression was ugly. Tu Xian was shocked. The Divine Feather Sect, which had been hiding in the dark, was actually brewing such a terrifying conspiracy. The Central Plains might be wiped out. Kid, let's see what this **T sacred sacrifice is. The white tiger said. Hearing this, the black-robed middle-aged man was terrified. Stop. You can't do this. Lin Tian's expression was cold. He stepped on the middle-aged man's chest with his right leg, and the middle-aged man screamed in pain. He sent a strand of his divine will into the middle-aged man's mind to explore and find out what this sacred sacrifice was. Then, in the next moment, his divine will pass through the middle-aged man's mind and saw a rune with a strange light. A destructive aura started to expand and spread. God-shattering rune. His expression changed slightly, and his divine will quickly retreated. He used his gentle divine will to force two Cien, the white tiger, and the church master away at the same time. In the blink of an eye, they were thousands of feet away from him. The white tiger frowned. "Kid, what are you, Boom?" A terrifying divine will exploded beside Lin Tian, and the black-robed middle-aged man exploded as if he had self-destructed. The terrifying aura spread in all directions and interrupted the white tiger's words. The destructive light drowned Lin Tian. The white tiger's expression changed. That black-robed bastard, what kind of self-destruct restriction is in his mind? Master. The two Cien was shocked and anxious. The church master's expression also changed, and he stared ahead. In front of them, the destructive light gradually dissipated, and a deep pit with a diameter of about 5,000 feet appeared on the ground. Lin Tian floated in the air, and endless dragon runes intertwined around his body. His clothes were a little messy, and many parts were damaged. Master. Two Cien rushed over with a swoosh. After seeing that Lin Tian was fine, she heaved a sigh of relief. The church master also rushed over. He felt the destructive aura around him, and his scalp was slightly numb. He bowed to Lin Tian and said, "Thank you for saving us." If Lin Tian had not used his divine will to force them away, they would have been dead. At the same time, looking at Lin Tian at this time, this master of the holy sea felt his heart tremble. Because just now, the black-robed middle-aged man suddenly exploded. That kind of destructive power was extremely terrifying. However, Lin Tian was standing at such a close distance, yet he didn't suffer any injuries. How powerful was this? The church master found it hard to imagine. A level 3rd stage celestial master actually has a self-destruct restriction in his mind. Is it to hide the sacred sacrifice from others? No wonder that black-robed man was so frightened when he heard that we were going to search for the sacred sacrifice. The white tiger ground his teeth. Then, what is this bullshit sacred sacrifice? What is it for? The two Cien jumped to Lin Tian's side and patted the dust on Lin Tian's body. Outside Lin Tian's body, a golden light flashed, and the dust on his body disappeared. His damaged clothes were restored to their original state. He tilted his head and looked in the direction of Mount Olympus. "My friend, please let me go with you. Together, we will punish this group of despicable people hiding in the dark," the church master said. At this time, he naturally saw that Lin Tian was going to the Divine Feather Sect, which was located near Mount Olympus. No need. Lin Tian Ondao. His eyes were cold as he looked in the direction of Mount Olympus. His body flashed with a golden light, and he disappeared with the white tiger and two Cien. The church master was shocked. He did not see how Lin Tian moved, and he did not even feel the movement of the air. The Central Plains is revered, the church master muttered to himself. Lin Tian left with a white tiger and two Cien. He used a great method to move horizontally, and soon appeared in another place. Looking ahead, there was a huge ancient mountain. There was no vegetation, and there was even snow on it. This was Mount Olympus, which was close to 1,000 feet high. It was located in the north of Greece, and it was the mountain of gods in Western mythology. Is the Divine Feather Sect here? Where is it? The white tiger looked around. It should be a hidden secret space, two Cien said. Nowadays, whether it was the Central Plains or the West, most of the cultivation heritages were located in secret spaces. Lin Tian stood outside Mount Olympus and opened his eye of delusion breaker immediately. In the blink of an eye, he saw a hidden secret space. Endless dragon patterns intertwined, and a void crack was torn open in an instant. There was an astonishing amount of spiritual chi behind it. He wrapped the white tiger and two Cien in a golden light and disappeared in an instant. In the next moment, the surrounding environment changed greatly. They appeared in an extremely vast space, and they couldn't see the end of it with a single glance. It was like a real small world, and there were numerous large mountains sitting within it. Most of them were lofty and majestic. What a huge secret space! Tu Xian was shocked. Chapter 1360. Hearing the white tiger's words, Lin Tian's expression changed slightly, and a glint flashed across his eyes. "Are you sure?" he asked the white tiger. One of the reasons he entered the West was to find the stone book that emerged from under Mount Tai. "I'm sure. It's definitely in the depths of this secret realm," the white tiger said. It had seen the stone book that emerged from Mount Tai with its own eyes and remembered the special aura of the stone book. Lin Tian's eyes lit up again. Without saying anything, he called the white tiger and the Tu Xian and went straight to the depths of the secret realm that the white tiger pointed at. After a while, the group of people walked a long distance. A cluster of divine palaces appeared in front of them. They all had a grand aura, and the air was filled with an ancient aura. The white tiger narrowed its eyes. "Is that where the immortal feather divine sect is?" "Yes." Lin Tian searched the black-robed, middle-aged man's mind. He knew about this secret realm and the palaces at the same time. He looked at the palaces in front of him from afar. Faint light of the dragon patterns intertwined in his eyes. He looked into the depths of the palaces and sensed a faintly discernible powerful ripple. It was as if a primordial beast was hiding there. He vaguely felt that there might be someone who could fight with him in this place. "Master, what's wrong?" Tu Xian found that he was a little strange. Lin Tian shook his head. "Nothing." As he said that, he called the white tiger and the Tu Xian and walked toward the palaces in front of them. In the blink of an eye, they arrived at the palaces. There was no one guarding the palaces. It was different from the Arthur family and the Millet family because it was hidden in the secret realm. Generally speaking, there was no need to station guards outside the palaces. Lin Tian came here and led the white tiger and the Tu Xian inside. A golden sword ray appeared outside his body. Clang! The golden sword ray was very ear-piercing, and it slashed straight ahead. With a rumble, the entrance of the immortal feather divine sect was directly destroyed. Debris and wood flew in all directions, and smoke and dust surged into the air. In an instant, the expressions of all the members of the immortal feather divine sect within this group of halls changed. "Who is it?" Someone rushed out and roared. This was a Wuzhen level master. After rushing out, he scanned the surroundings with his powerful spiritual will and quickly found Lin Tian. "It's you." The man's expression changed. "Why are you here?" At the same time, there were many other figures following behind this person. At this moment, their faces were also filled with shock. As the person who'd spoiled their plans, they naturally knew of Lin Tian, and they recognized him with a single glance. They couldn't believe that Lin Tian would appear at this place. This was the secret realm of their divine feather sect, and it was never known to outsiders. Moreover, the third elder of their branch had already gone to kill Lin Tian. Logically speaking, it was impossible for Lin Tian to appear here. Third elder, that black robe? He's gonna have tea with the king of hell. The white tiger gritted its teeth. What? Impossible. The third elder is already a stage 3 heavenly venerable. How can you be a match for the third elder? The members of the divine feather divine sect all changed their expressions, and someone shouted angrily. TSK. The white tiger curled its lips and looked at this group of people with a mocking expression. Lin Tian took a step forward and appeared to be much more straightforward. Divine power surged, and golden sword radiance spread out in all directions. Blood splattered. In the blink of an eye, the group of divine feather divine sect disciples that had rushed out were all dead. Lin Tian's expression was indifferent as he stepped into the hall. Clang! The sound of the sword was ear-piercing. His steps were steady, and streaks of golden sword radiance appeared around his body and casually slashed in all directions. Around him, the halls collapsed one by one, and the divine feather divine sect disciples that resided within died tragically. Central Plains man, it's you. You actually, There were many divine feather divine sect disciples in this hall, and they all had Western faces. There were humans and demons. At this moment, no one could block Lin Tion's golden sword radiance, and they all died one after another. Lin Tion's expression was indifferent. This lineage was the driving force behind the Eastern expedition of the Western cultivation world, and they wanted to carry out some kind of dark sacred ritual in Central Plains to lead the Western cultivation world into Central Plains to snatch the sacred mountains of Central Plains. This could lead to the death of all living beings in Central Plains. Naturally, he would not show any mercy. After entering this place, he killed everyone he saw. Every divine feather divine sect disciple that appeared in his line of sight died instantly. Whoosh! 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 The sound of air being torn apart could be heard as three figures rushed out. Their bodies were intertwined with extremely shocking auras. Sect Master, Grand Elder, Second Elder. Seeing these three people rushing out, some of the divine feather divine sect disciples were pleasantly surprised. However, in the next moment, they were directly cut into a bloody mist. Behind Lin Tian, the White Tiger and two Xian were shocked. At this time, they naturally felt how terrifying these three people were. The aura intertwined around each of them was slightly stronger than the black-robed middle-aged man that Lin Tian killed previously. All of them are heavenly venerables? The White Tiger was shocked. This divine feather divine sect was actually so terrifying. Lin Tian raised his head, and his gaze fell on the three figures that rushed out. His expression was indifferent, and there was not the slightest fluctuation in his emotions. The three middle-aged men stared at Lin Tian, and their eyes narrowed slightly. Central Plains man, why are you here? The sect master of the divine feather divine sect asked coldly. He naturally knew about Lin Tian. Previously, he had already sent the black-robed middle-aged man, who was a level 3 heavenly venerate, to kill Lin Tian to prevent Lin Tian from affecting their plan. However, he did not expect Lin Tian to come at this time. This gave him a bad feeling. This was because since Lin Tian came here after the black-robed middle-aged man went to kill Lin Tian, it meant that the people that he had sent out were probably dead. Moreover, Lin Tian might have already known about their secret plan. Otherwise, why would Lin Tian come here at this time? Lin Tian looked at the three of them, and his expression was still indifferent. Immediately after, he shifted his gaze and looked deeper into the space. Clang! An ear-piercing sword sound was heard, and a 3-foot-long towering heaven sword essence slashed past the sect master's face. It was like a comet, and it slashed towards an ancient pagoda in the depths of the space. In the blink of an eye, it had arrived in front of the ancient pagoda. In an instant, a powerful sword chi swept across, and it directly cut the ancient pagoda into pieces. Smoke and dust rose into the air. Damn Central Region people! How dare you! Xian sect master shouted angrily. That ancient pagoda was not an ordinary place. The few important figures of their lineage lived in it, and it was the soul of Xian holy sect. Boom! At this moment, 3 figures rushed out from the ancient pagoda, and in the blink of an eye, they rose to the top of the void. They were 3 strange humanoid living beings. Their appearances were not much different from humans, but they had gray wings on their backs. At the same time, they had a third eye in between their brows. Their hair was silver, and their ears were slightly pointy. Their eyes were deep, and there was a faint divine light surrounding their bodies. They gave off a very shocking feeling. Greetings to the 3 celestial masters. Seeing the 3 of them, Xian sect master and the rest of the people knelt down and bowed. Everyone looked extremely sincere. The 3 of them were the founders of Levitation God sect, and they were the ancestors of Levitation God sect. To them, they were like gods. It's them. White Tiger's eyes fell on the 3 of them, and he stared at them. 2 Xian could feel the terrifying power of the 3 figures that rushed out from the ancient pagoda, and his face was filled with fear. When he heard White Tiger's words, he could not help but ask, "You know them?" "Of course I know them." Back then, it was these 3 birdmen who snatched the stone book that emerged from the bottom of Mount Tai. White Tiger said, "Back then, before it was sealed in Mount Longhu. It saw with its own eyes that a strange stone book emerged from the bottom of Mount Tai, and it caused many experts to fight for it. In the end, it was snatched away by a few winged living beings from the west, and they were the three people in front of it. Lin Tian did not say anything. He had sensed three unusual auras in the ancient pagoda, so he destroyed the ancient pagoda and forced the three of them out. At this moment, he was quietly sizing up the three of them. Then his gaze fell on the person in the middle. This person vaguely gave him a sense of pressure. In the air in front of him, the three winged beings were also looking at Lin Tian. Their eyes were deep, and they looked cold. One of them said, "Moxida, this is the man from Middle-earth that you mentioned." The Moxter he mentioned was the name of the Xinyu sect master. Even though he was asking this question, his gaze was still fixed on Lin Tian. It was as if he was a divine king looking down on mortals like ants. He had an air of superiority. Clearly, the sect master of the levitation god sect had already reported the matter of Lin Tian to the three winged beings. "Why, yes, master. It's him. He's the one who disrupted our plan." The levitation god sect master's expression was sincere and respectful as he said, "Don't worry, master. I'll kill him right away." As he spoke, he looked at Lin Tian. Divine power surged out of his body, intertwining with bone-piercing killing intent as he walked toward Lin Tian. "You don't have to do it." The voice of the person who spoke was calm. His gaze was fixed on Lin Tian as he said, "I'll kill him personally for interfering with our long-cherished wish." As the person walked in the air, the wings behind his back were intertwined with divine radiance. A powerful aura instantly emerged as his cultivation base was revealed. Half-step Emperor Realm. White Tiger's expression changed. Tu Xianxian was also shocked. Her delicate body could not help but tremble. She had never imagined that there would be someone of such a level in this era and world. Compared to them, the disciples of levitation god sect were all excited. Many of them were very emotional. Then they looked at Lin Tian. Their gazes turned cold again, as though they were looking at a cold corpse. The third deity master is going to take action personally. He'll definitely kill this heretic from Middle-earth in an instant. Of course, he's not even a speck of dust in front of the deity master. Our long-cherished wish will be realized soon, the disciples of divine feather god sect said. Buzz! Divine radiance intertwined in the air. The winged third deity master of levitation god sect walked toward Lin Tian. His expression was indifferent, as though he was a deity walking in the mortal world. A cross-shaped divine sword appeared above his head as he said, "I'll grant you death." Chapter 1361. The cross-shaped godly sword shone brightly with a mighty, heavenly aura. It was like an attack from the heavens. It was so powerful that it was terrifying. The surrounding space froze. The powerful attack headed straight for Lin Tian and enveloped both the White Tiger and Tu Xianxian. Die! The third immortal master of levitation god sect looked indifferent like a king. As soon as he finished speaking, the divine cross sword became even more terrifying. Its aura suppressed the surroundings, and everywhere it passed, the space was completely distorted. Lin Tian raised his head and looked at the cross-shaped godly sword. A ray of golden light flashed across his eyes as he slashed out like a golden, sacred sword. Whoosh! When the divine light landed on the divine cross sword, it instantly shattered the sword into pieces. Everyone from the celestial feather divine sect was shocked. He blocked the third immortal master's cross-shaped godly sword? How is that possible? They were all shocked. Even the celestial feather divine sect master was shocked. At the top of the void, the other two winged figures looked over. The one in the middle looked at Lin Tian. His eyes were incomparably deep, and there was a sharp light intertwining in them. Behind Lin Tian, the White Tiger and Tu Xianxian were shocked. You blocked the attack of a half-step Dekong so easily. Brat, how strong are you? The White Tiger stared at him. Lin Tian didn't say anything. He didn't look at the third immortal master who attacked him. His eyes were still fixed on the first immortal master of levitation god sect. In the void, the first immortal master, who had taken out the cross-shaped godly sword, looked at Lin Tian with surprise. However, his eyes soon became indifferent again. Man of Middle-earth, you have some ability. I admit that I underestimated you. However, you still avoided death. Get down. Lin Tian. Invisible divine powers surged, shaking the void. With a bang, the third immortal master was knocked down from the void and rolled beside his feet. The third immortal master's expression changed. You bang. Lin Tianyi stepped on his chest. Just like the black-robed, middle-aged man, all his ribs were broken. Ah! The third immortal master screamed and spat out blood. Everyone from the Levitation God sect had a drastic change in expression. Lord Immortal Master, this is impossible. The disciples of the Levitation God sect trembled, and their faces turned pale. One of the three founders of their Levitation God sect, an existence that they revered like a god, had actually been knocked down from the sky by a young man from the Central Plains before being stomped beneath his feet. The White Tiger and Tu Xianxian widened their eyes and shuddered involuntarily. Master, did you cheat? Tu Xianxian couldn't help but blurt out a modern internet slang. My tiger ancestor. The White Tiger gulped. They were completely stunned. A half-step Emperor realm existence was still so weak in the hands of Lin Tian. Just like the black-robed, middle-aged man from before, he was easily trampled by Lin Tian. Damn humans! Get lost! The third immortal master of the Celestial Feather Divine sect roared. He was enraged when Lin Tian stepped on him. With a rumble, a terrifying divine power rushed out of his body, trying to shake off Lin Tian's right leg that was on his chest. However, it was useless. Lin Tian's right leg on his chest was like an ancient divine mountain. No matter how hard he tried to activate his divine power, it was useless. He couldn't break free and was firmly pinned under Lin Tian's foot. Damn it! Get lost! He roared. Being stomped under someone's foot made his eyes bloodshot. His arrogance immediately vanished. Shut up! Lin Tiandao exerted some force with his right leg that was on the third immortal master's chest, instantly shattering the divine power that erupted from the third immortal master. Ah! The third immortal master screamed and spat out blood again. Such a scene caused the people of the Celestial Feather Divine sect to tremble. Their faces were full of shock and disbelief. The second immortal master of the Celestial Feather Divine sect was also shocked. His strength was the same as the third immortal master's. At this moment, he stared at Lin Tian with narrowed eyes. Human, let him go. An indifferent voice sounded. The first immortal master of the Celestial Feather Divine sect spoke. He was the strongest ancestor of the Celestial Feather Divine sect and was respectfully called the Emperor of Feathers. At this moment, he looked at Lin Tian. His eyes were still deep, and his expression was as calm as water. It was as if he was a true supreme, great emperor. As his voice fell, the space in this place trembled, making many people feel alarmed. There was Tao power that surged. Little brat, this birdman is a little scary. Behind Lin Tian, the White Tiger couldn't help but tremble again. Very, very scary. Tu Xianxian shrunk his neck. Lin Tian could naturally feel that this Emperor of Feathers was not simple. Since he returned to Earth from the 10 Directions celestial domain, this was the first person to make him feel pressured. However, his expression didn't change. Although there was a trace of pressure, there was no fear. His right leg was still stepping on the third immortal master's chest. Then, dragon patterns intertwined and crushed down forcefully. Poof! The third immortal master's physical body was directly crushed into a bloody mist. No! His divine soul screamed in horror. In the next moment, the dense dragon patterns entangled him and shattered together with his physical body. His body and soul were destroyed. Immortal Master! How could this be? This is impossible. The disciples of the Celestial Feather Divine sect were terrified. Their third immortal master was dead. The White Tiger and Tu Xianxian trembled again. A half-step Emperor-level expert was actually stomped to death with one foot. Lin Tian's expression was very calm. His gaze fell on the Emperor of Feathers, who was at the top of the void. Human. The Emperor of Feather's eyes turned cold. At this moment, they were like two black holes, and a great divine power surged out. He asked Lin Tian to let go of the third immortal master, but Lin Tian killed him directly. This was equivalent to slapping his face. Boom! The gray divine light rumbled, and the void shook. The cultivation that the Emperor of Feathers displayed caused everyone in this space to tremble. Emperor Realm. The white tiger was horrified. Tu Xianxian was also shocked. This Emperor of Feathers had actually surpassed the celestial venerable level and entered the Emperor Realm. The Emperor of Feathers stood in the sky. He had 3 eyes and 3 pairs of gray wings. Gray divine light intertwined around his body, as if it had turned into an abyss that devoured everything. It was also like a black hole that annihilated everything, causing the great Tao to tremble. Emperor of Feathers. Emperor of Feathers, avenge the third immortal master. Emperor of Feathers, you will definitely lead us to achieve our long-cherished wish. Emperor of Feathers, you are omnipotent. The people of the Divine Feathers sect clenched their fists. They were almost superstitious about the Emperor of Feathers who stood at the top of the void. With a rumble, the void shook. All kinds of Tao light rolled and intertwined around the Emperor of Feathers. He was so powerful that it was a little frightening. The Emperor of Feathers' eyes were deep and cold. At this moment, he stared at Lin Tian ruthlessly, as if he was a god who controlled death. A murderous intent intertwined in this space, suppressing everything. Lin Tian stood on the ground and naturally felt the strength of this person. This person's cultivation was at the early stage of the Emperor Realm. This really surprised him. He never thought that there would be such a powerful existence on Earth today. Little fox, stupid tiger, back off. Back off a little, he said with his back facing Tu Xianxian and White Tiger. As soon as these words came out, the White Tiger and Tu Xianxian were shocked. Kid, you want to fight? Is that okay? That's an enemy of the Emperor Realm. You can't fight him head on, White Tiger said. Lin Tian had just easily killed a half-step Emperor Realm existence. It knew that Lin Tian was very strong, but it was still worried at this moment. After all, the opponent was the Emperor of Feathers, who was in the true Emperor Realm. A half-step Emperor Realm existence could not be compared to him. Kill him, destroy this place, get the stone book, and then return to Middle-earth. Lin Tian Dao. His voice was very calm, which shocked the White Tiger and Tu Xianxian. They could feel Lin Tian's confidence. The people of the Divine Feathers sect were all furious. They stared at Lin Tian viciously. You dare to say that you can kill the Emperor of Feathers? Stupid Middle-earth people. The Emperor of Feathers can crush you with one finger. These people scolded Lin Tian. Lin Tian seemed very calm. He did not care about these people at all. His eyes only fell on the Emperor of Feathers who was at the top of the sky. Back off, he said to the White Tiger and Tu Xianxian behind him. Tu Xianxian and White Tiger's expressions changed again. Their eyes flickered. In the end, Tu Xianxian retreated. He grabbed the White Tiger's tail and pulled it away. Master, you can definitely kill that birdman, she said. She believed in Lin Tian. In the blink of an eye, she pulled the White Tiger and retreated thousands of feet away. She looked in the direction of Lin Tian from thousands of feet away. Lin Tian stood on the ground. At this moment, he naturally felt that Tu Xianxian and White Tiger had already left. He looked at the Emperor of Feathers who was at the top of the sky. His expression was very calm from the beginning. Boom! A vast Emperor's aura surged. Blazing golden divine light rushed out from his body. The sound of wind and thunder was mighty, shaking all directions. Ever since he returned to Earth, this was the first time he had shown his true strength. The golden divine light almost dyed his hair golden, and a majestic pressure came down from all directions, as if it was going to shatter this solid space of the secret realm. Suddenly, everyone's expression changed. This pressure was really too strong. It was as if the starry sky was pressing down. 8th level Heavenly Venerable? This kid is at the 8th level Heavenly Venerable. Moreover, this aura is simply The white tiger was shocked. Lin Tian's cultivation shocked it, and the pressure that Lin Tian emitted shocked it even more. This was not the pressure that an 8th-level heavenly venerable could emit. This kind of pressure was not much weaker than that of a true Emperor Sky realm expert. It finally understood why even the half-step Emperor Sky realm 3rd immortal master was as weak as an ant in Lin Tian's hands. How could an ordinary half-step Emperor Sky realm cultivator be a match for Lin Tian, who could emit such a terrifying pressure? They could only be crushed. So strong. Is this master's true strength? Too strong. Tu Xinqian's beautiful eyes glowed. She was very excited. At this moment, the pressure that Lin Tian emitted was too terrifying. It was vast and intimidating, as if an ancient immortal king had descended to the mortal world. With this kind of pressure, the second immortal master of the Divine Feather sect could not help but tremble. Even the Emperor Sky realm Emperor of Feathers could not help but narrow his eyes. However, his gaze quickly became cold again. Chapter 1362. The aura of an Emperor-level expert was vast and mighty. It was as if the heavens were about to descend, and the entire space was trembling. The Feather Emperor stood in the sky and looked down at Lin Tian like a deity. "This will be your grave. Feather Emperor! Feather Emperor! Feather Emperor!" The disciples of the Celestial Feather Divine sect shouted excitedly. Lin Tian looked at the Feather Emperor in the sky with a calm expression. The golden divine light around his body vibrated and became even more intense. He stepped into the sky and walked toward the Feather Emperor. "You can have the grave here. I don't need it." The Feather Emperor's eyes were deep and cold. "You're just a heavenly venerable. You don't know what's good for you." His words were cold. In the next moment, he attacked. He stretched out his right hand, which covered the sky, and slapped toward Lin Tian. With a rumbling sound, a violent hurricane instantly appeared in this space and swept out in all directions. The hurricane was terrifying. It tore the void apart and made everyone in the Celestial Feather Divine sect fearful. "Retreat!" The sect master of the Celestial Feather Divine sect shouted. He led all the disciples away from the area where Lin Tian and the Feather Emperor were fighting. At the same time, the second deity master of the Celestial Feather Divine sect had already retreated. He was standing on a mountain tens of thousands of feet away. On the other side, the white tiger and Tu Xianxian were looking over. They looked at the terrifying palm of the Feather Emperor and fixed their gazes on Lin Tian. Although they knew that Lin Tian was strong, they couldn't help but worry. After all, the Feather Emperor was really terrifying. Boom! The Feather Emperor's palm slapped toward Lin Tian. It covered everything and had a terrifying, destructive power. Lin Tian was very calm. He didn't say anything and directly punched out. This was a pure physical punch. It immediately caused the void to tremble violently, and a thunderous boom rang out. In the blink of an eye, his fist and the Feather Emperor's palm collided. A large area of the surrounding void was instantly annihilated. Transparent air vibrations rippled out like water ripples. The Feather Emperor was shocked. Lin Tian, who was a heavenly venerable, actually blocked his palm completely. Gray divine light intertwined in his eyes. The wings on his back shook, and divine splendor filled the sky. He struck out with both of his palms, creating palm shadows that filled the sky. Lin Tian's expression was indifferent. Golden divine light circled around his body. He swung his fists and punched the Feather Emperor again and again. Dong! 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 Fists and palms collided continuously, like the sound of war drums being beaten in this space, the roar piercing the eardrums of those who heard it. Such a scene caused everyone from the Divine Feather sect to be shocked. The great demon of the Central Plains stopped the Emperor of Feathers? To be able to contend with Lord Emperor of Feathers for a short period of time, how is this possible? Some people's hearts trembled, their faces filled with disbelief. The second immortal master of this bloodline was the most shocked, and his eyes couldn't help but flicker violently. In this place, he was the clearest about how powerful Feather Emperor was. They had awakened together since the ancient times and cultivated together until now. Feather Emperor had reached the Emperor Void realm and had an unparalleled physical body that could crush everything. He could crush a half-step Emperor Void realm expert with a single finger. But now, in terms of pure physical body, a heavenly venerable could actually contend with Feather Emperor. With the cultivation of a heavenly venerable, his physical body isn't weaker than an Emperor Void realm expert. How did this kid cultivate his physical body to such a terrifying level? In another direction, White Tiger stared at Lin Tian, his eyes filled with fear. So powerful. Tu Xianxian was also shocked. The path of cultivation was long. The further one went in the cultivation realm, the greater the gap between each small realm. The difference in strength between major realms was like heaven and earth. It was simply incomparable. But now, Lin Tian's physical body was actually not weaker than an Emperor Void realm expert with the cultivation of a heavenly venerable. Such a scene was truly shocking. Dong! 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 The sky shook, and the sound of war drums could be heard continuously. Lin Tian's expression was indifferent. He waved his golden iron fist, and his pure physical strength crushed everything. Feather Emperor's eyes were deep. The power of his palm was terrifying, and it almost crushed the great path. Human, you're not bad. His voice was cold. Lin Tian waved his fist, and the golden fist aura suppressed everything. But you're nothing. Emperor Void Realm is only at this level. His voice was calm, and his expression was indifferent. Feather Emperor's eyes turned cold, and his palm pressed down, enveloping Lin Tian. At the same time, the wings behind him shook, and a gray Tao radiance swept out. It turned into a gray divine sword and slashed down at Lin Tian. Clang! The void trembled, and the Tao radiance became denser. This was a powerful killing technique. As soon as it appeared, it distorted the surroundings and went straight for Lin Tian's glabella. The entire space was covered by a murderous aura. The gray divine sword accompanied by the gray Tao radiance suppressed everything. Lord Feather Emperor's great technique, Sacred Slaying Sword. Once the Sacred Slaying Sword is used, everything will perish. Everything will return to its original state. Many disciples of the Levitation God sect were excited. Many of them had seen Feather Emperor practice the Sacred Slaying Sword, and they knew how powerful and terrifying it was. It could destroy everything in the world. In their impression, the Sacred Slaying Sword could cut through everything. Clang! The Sacred Slaying Sword slashed down from the sky, and a vast Tao radiance covered the entire area. Lin Tian could feel how terrifying this sword was, but his expression did not change at all. He was still indifferent. Buzz! Behind him, the four symbols Tao diagram rushed up and evolved into 4 layers. It went up against the Sacred Slaying Sword that was coming down at Feather Emperor. At the same time, he swung the Chaos Emperor fist. His fist burst out with an even more dazzling golden radiance, and the power of his fist covered the entire area. Roar! Roar! The true dragon roared, and the celestial phoenix cried. A dragon and a phoenix surged out and attacked Feather Emperor from 2 sides. Boom! The entire space was covered in unparalleled divine radiance. The void was shattered, and destructive aura intertwined. The Sacred Slaying Sword and the 4 symbols Tao diagram collided, and the true dragon and celestial phoenix landed in front of Feather Emperor. Feather Emperor's eyes were cold. Emperor-level divine power surged, and it shattered the true dragon and celestial phoenix. The gray divine power condensed into a battle spear. The tip of the spear shone with a cold light, and it pierced through Lin Tian's forehead. The sharp force shattered everything around it. Lin Tian did not make any unnecessary movements. He swung the Chaos Emperor fist and punched the Feather Emperor's battle spear. With a dang sound, his fist landed on the battle spear, and a metallic sound that seemed to be real rang out. Feather Emperor's eyes were like lightning. He shook the battle spear in his hand, and in the blink of an eye, the sky was filled with spear shadows. They enveloped Lin Tian, and wherever they passed, the mountains and rivers shook. Nothing could exist. The peerless radiance pierced through everything, and nothing could stop it. Lin Tian swung the Chaos Emperor fist, and the Ling Tian sword scripture was activated as well. The sky was filled with golden sword radiance. Boom! 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 The two of them fought fiercely, and they fought all the way to the sky. Wherever they passed, everything was destroyed. Crack! 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 Crisp sounds were heard, and the void was constantly exploding. Abysses were formed in the battle between the two of them. This was because they were fighting in the secret realm. If they were in the outside world, it would definitely be a disaster. The strength of the two of them was too terrifying. A casual move could shatter the mountains and split the sky. If they were to fight outside the secret realm, it would be unknown how many territories of this world would be destroyed. Dong! Lin Tian swung his fist and punched down. His fist aura was monstrous, and a tall mountain in this space collapsed. Feather Emperor swung the Saint Slayer's sword again, and the radiance of Tao intertwined as he attacked Lin Tian. The two of them fought, and the sky and earth cracked. Wherever they passed, the mountains and rivers collapsed. It was difficult to preserve them. He completely blocked Lord Feather Emperor? How can this be? The disciples of the Celestial Feather Divine sect were shocked. Even the heavenly venerable Celestial Feather Divine sect master, Great Elder, and Second Elder were no exception. Their bodies were trembling, and their eyes were filled with horror. They had used the name of the Holy See to guide the Western Orthodoxies to invade the East. What kind of existence had they provoked in the Central region? Damn it! The Second Elder of this lineage clenched his fists. Lord Feather Emperor will definitely kill him. Now let's kill the Central region people who came with him first. As he spoke, he looked at the White Tiger and two Xianxian in another direction. He immediately moved, and a mighty, heavenly, venerable level divine power charged towards the White Tiger and two Xianxian. In the blink of an eye, he was right in front of them. The White Tiger and two Xianxian had been paying attention to the battle between Lin Tian and Feather Emperor. When they saw the Second Elder of the Celestial Feather Divine sect charging towards them, their expressions changed drastically. The other party was a heavenly, venerable level existence, and there was no way they could withstand it. Die! The Second Elder of the Celestial Feather Divine sect raised his hand, and his eyes were cruel and cold. Murderous intent intertwined and pressed down on the White Tiger and two Xianxian. The boundless murderous intent froze the space around the White Tiger and two Xianxian. Far away, Lin Tian and the Emperor-level Feather Emperor were fighting. Their divine senses were intertwined, and naturally, they saw this scene. Their eyes turned cold, and with a swing of his hand, a golden sword gleam shot out. Clang! The sound of the sword was ear-piercing, and the sword gleam was extremely fast. It pierced through a void tunnel, and in the blink of an eye, it was right in front of the Second Elder. The Second Elder of the Celestial Feather Divine sect trembled as he felt the terrifying aura of the sword gleam. His cruel and cold expression immediately turned into fear. No poof! A mist of blood exploded, and the sword gleam slashed down, directly destroying the heavenly venerable level Second Elder of the Celestial Feather Divine sect. This scene caused the people of the Celestial Feather Divine sect to tremble. A heavenly venerable level expert was destroyed by a single sword gleam. What kind of terrifying battle prowess was this? Thank you, Master, two Xianxian shouted at Lin Tian. She was really frightened by the heavenly venerable level Second Elder of the Celestial Feather Divine sect. Lin Tian stood in the sky, and his expression was calm and indifferent. Golden light intertwined around his body as he walked step by step toward the Feather Emperor. The Feather Emperor's gaze landed on Lin Tian. His eyes were as cold as ice, and they were like two murderous divine swords that shook one's soul. Human, you are not bad. However, do you really think that you can defeat me with your heavenly venerable level cultivation? His voice was cold. Lin Tian's footsteps did not change, and his expression did not change. He only said one sentence calmly: "This will be your burial ground." Golden divine light surged around his body and gathered into a golden divine sword. It slashed down toward the Feather Emperor from a distance, and a large crack appeared in the void as chaotic light leaked out. To read a novel, please visit Chapter 1363. The golden sword radiance was mixed with a sharp sword aura. It tore open a huge crack in the void and arrived before the Emperor of Feathers in the blink of an eye. The void was annihilated, and chaotic light scattered in all directions. The Emperor of Feathers' eyes were cold. Gray divine radiance surged around him. He used his palm as a blade and shattered the golden sword radiance. "I'll let you see the true power of an Emperor Void Realm cultivator. I'll extinguish your foolish ignorance and arrogance." His voice was cold and lofty, like an immortal king. With a boom, the light of the way outside his body became even denser. His entire being seemed to have turned into a gray sun. Then in the next moment, the space trembled. Pieces of silver starlight flew from the sky like a silver waterfall. The silver starlight enveloped his body in the blink of an eye. It was vast, causing everyone's heart to tremble. This is the power of the starry sky. The Emperor of Feathers used a supreme technique to attract the power of the starry sky. Some disciples of the celestial feather divine sect were excited. Lin Tion's eyes flickered. He looked at the power of the starry sky that was attracted by the Emperor of Feathers. His expression did not change at all. He knew one thing very well. After one's cultivation reached the Emperor Void Realm, one had to use the power of the starry sky to refine one's physique. It would make one's physical body indestructible and reach the immortal realm. Therefore, he was not surprised that an Emperor Void Realm cultivator could attract the starry sky's origin. He raised his hand, and the golden sword radiance appeared again. It slashed toward the Emperor of Feathers. With a clang, the golden sword radiance pierced through the sky and instantly arrived before the Emperor of Feathers. The Emperor of Feathers snorted. He waved his right hand, and the starry sky trembled. It instantly crushed the golden sword radiance that Lin Tian slashed out. "You're just a mere level 8 heavenly venerable. How dare you try to fight against an Emperor Void Realm cultivator? You're trying to break a rock with an egg." His voice was cold. He formed a seal with both hands. The starry sky's origin surged like waves and turned into balls of silver flames. The flames burned the space and made sizzling sounds. The starry sky's origin has turned into starry sky flames. I'll use these flames to bury you here. Boom! The silver starry sky flames surged. With a wave of the Feather Emperor's hand, they transformed into a silver sea of flames that pressed down on Lin Tian. This kind of flame contained the original power of the starry sky. It was extremely powerful. Everywhere it passed, the void was directly burned. Even the air was annihilated. Nothing could stop it. Large areas of mountains and rivers were instantly destroyed, disappearing in the blink of an eye. The silver flames engulfed the surroundings and pressed down on Lin Tian. The space around them suddenly became scorching hot. Lin Tian swung the divine sword in his hand. The golden sword light turned into a rain of swords that flew out and slashed at the flames in the starry sky. However, the starry sky flame was too tyrannical, and the soaring heaven sword light he slashed out was burned to ashes in the blink of an eye. Foolish people of the Central Plains, you actually dare to fight against Lord Feather Emperor. Turn into ashes under Lord Feather Emperor's divine flames. A disciple of the immortal Feather Divine sect shouted. In the void, the silver starry sky flames continued to press down on Lin Tian like waves. Everything in the surroundings that came into contact with this kind of flame was instantly burned to ashes. In the blink of an eye, the starry sky flames arrived in front of Lin Tian. Die! The Feather Emperor looked down at Lin Tian and said coldly. Lin Tian glanced at the Feather Emperor. The divine sword made of light in his hand dispersed. In the next moment, golden flames surged out. The golden flames were incomparably blazing. As soon as they appeared, they surged toward the starry sky flames and collided with each other. Suddenly, a sizzling sound was heard. The golden flames completely blocked the terrifying starry sky flames. "This is the pure yang flames?" The Feather Emperor's eyes narrowed. At the same time, the other people in this secret realm were also shocked. This kid even found the legendary divine flames? In the distance, the white tiger was shocked. So powerful! Tu Xianxian was also astonished. The pure yang flames were said to be formed by the true power of heaven and earth. It was said to be able to burn everything in the world. Once a cultivator found it and refined it, he could directly control this kind of divine flame. When used in battle, it could burn all kinds of magical powers and secret techniques. It could even burn the Great Path precepts. Most importantly, this kind of divine flame could become stronger as the controller became stronger. There was no upper limit to how strong it could become. It was very terrifying. Buzz! The void buzzed. Lin Tian used the pure yang flames. The golden divine flame burned everything, making the space even hotter. Sizzling sounds were constantly heard. Now that he had reached the middle stage of the 8-stage Heavenly Master and had the strongest reincarnation body, the pure yang flames were naturally more terrifying. At this moment, it burned the starry sky flames that the Feather Emperor used. This was the divine flame, the king of flames. It could burn everything. Sizzle. In the end, the starry sky flames were completely burned by the pure yang flames. "This is the true power of the Emperor realm that you mentioned?" Lin Tian's voice was indifferent. He stepped forward, leaving afterimages with each step. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of the Feather Emperor. The pure yang flames pressed down mercilessly. "Human, don't be too proud. You are nothing." The Feather Emperor's voice was cold. Gray divine light surged around his body. He used a sky full of Tao radiance to attack Lin Tian from all directions. In the blink of an eye, the two of them fought again. The entire space trembled. Mountains were destroyed and rivers dried up. It was a terrifying scene. Lin Tian used the pure yang flames to attack again and again with the Chaos Emperor fist. The sky trembled and collapsed inch by inch. At the same time, he used the divination divine technique to create all kinds of magical powers and secret techniques to attack the Feather Emperor. Bang! With a loud sound, the Feather Emperor was swept away. His hair was disheveled. Lord Feather Emperor! Everyone from the Divine Feathers sect trembled. The White Tiger and Tu Xianxian couldn't help but stare. Lin Tian used his heavenly venerable realm cultivation to sweep away the Emperor realm Feather Emperor. This kid is too abnormal. This is a battle of a higher realm, and he can do this. The White Tiger swallowed his saliva. The void trembled. Lin Tian used the pure yang flames and the divination divine technique. All kinds of techniques were used at the same time to crush the sky. A pair of gray wings appeared on the Feather Emperor's back. His silver hair was disheveled. He used the power of the stars again. His body was bathed in starlight, as if he was a war god of the stars. He slashed out beams of Tao radiance, attacking Lin Tian endlessly. Boom! 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 The two of them fought fiercely. Their physiques competed, and their magical powers clashed. The sky was full of multicolored light. With a rumbling sound, the Feather Emperor gathered the power of the stars and formed a giant hand. It slapped down on Lin Tian mercilessly. This was a terrifying attack. It was not a magical power, but it was better than a magical power. The powerful power of the stars could destroy everything. Lin Tian didn't dodge. He used the pure yang flames to protect his body. He waved his iron fist and went against the sky. Boom! The two of them collided. The whole world was rumbling, as if there was an unparalleled sound of Tao interweaving. The pure yang flames and the power of the stars. Two different kinds of power interweaved. Different radiance covered everything. Many people couldn't even open their eyes at this moment. They couldn't see clearly what was going on. Swish! The sound of air breaking rang out. Lin Tian used the ninth layer of the yin and yang steps to break through the sky full of divine radiance. He left behind afterimages with each step. In an instant, he was in front of the Feather Emperor. His golden fist smashed down mercilessly like a golden star. The Feather Emperor's expression changed. You poof! Blood splattered from the punch. The Feather Emperor was sent flying. Half of his face was almost smashed. Everyone in the Divine Feather sect trembled again. Lin Tian used the yin and yang steps and left afterimages in the sky. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of the Feather Emperor again. He didn't show any mercy. His golden iron fists smashed down one after another. Many divine images appeared and suppressed the Feather Emperor. This was a terrifying attack. Even the Emperor-level Feather Emperor couldn't withstand it. In the blink of an eye, he was in an extremely sorry state. Half of his body was smashed by Lin Tian. He rolled thousands of feet away and smashed a mountain into pieces. Lin Tian's expression didn't change. Dense golden sword radiance appeared around him and slashed in the direction where the Feather Emperor was sent flying. At the same time, his real body didn't stop. He used the yin and yang steps and followed behind the golden sword radiance. He attacked the Feather Emperor again. The Feather Emperor soared into the sky. His injured body was healed in an instant. He smashed Lin Tian's sword radiance with his palm. However, in the next moment, Lin Tian's real body arrived in front of the Feather Emperor and used the Chaos Emperor Fist. Bam! The Chaos Emperor Fist was extremely powerful. It directly sent the Feather Emperor flying. Blood splattered everywhere. Lin Tian stepped forward. He still didn't stop. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of the Feather Emperor again. His golden iron fist smashed down again. At the later stages of cultivation, the difference in battle prowess between major realms was incredibly huge. It was basically impossible to surmount a realm to battle. However, he was different. He was an extremely powerful reincarnation physique and had experienced destructive heavenly tribulations time and time again. He possessed battle prowess that far surpassed those at the same level. He could truly surmount a realm to battle, and he could even go against the flow and slay immortals. Bam! The golden fist radiance was intimidating. It landed on the Feather Emperor again and directly sent him flying. Lin Tian stepped forward and stepped in front of the Feather Emperor again. His golden fist pressed down like a violent storm. Bam! 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 The Feather Emperor took the punches again and again. In the blink of an eye, his body was in tatters. Dazzling blood splattered all over the void. Damn it! Enough! The Feather Emperor roared angrily. With a boom, the divine power on his body shook violently like a gust of wind. It forced Lin Tian back. His injured body healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. In the blink of an eye, he had recovered to his current state. His silver hair danced in the wind. In the next moment, the third vertical eye between his brows intertwined with strands of strange light. It was like the eye of the Grim Reaper, as if it was going to pierce through one's soul. An extremely terrifying aura intertwined with each other. Devouring immortal graveyard, he roared. With a boom, the gray divine light around his body became even denser. The third eye between his brows shot out an extremely dazzling light, and in the blink of an eye, a strange domain appeared. Celestial souls and malicious spirits roared within, and there were numerous mausoleums that seemed to fly over from outer space. They were extremely fast, and in the blink of an eye, they enveloped Lin Tian. Turn into bones in the devouring immortal graveyard, he said coldly. His eyes became bone-chilling. Chapter 1364. The third eye between Feather Emperor's eyebrows glowed. The immortal devouring graveyard seemed to be real. It was like a small world of its own. Immortal souls and malicious ghosts gathered inside. Divine light and baleful aura intertwined as they charged at Lin Tian. Lin Tian was the first to react. The golden divine fire outside his body surged and enveloped the incoming immortal souls and malicious ghosts. Whoosh! 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 The unparalleled divine fire burned a large number of immortal souls and malicious ghosts. However, the immortal devouring graveyard was filled with so many immortal souls and ghosts. They ceaselessly crawled out from the tombs within the graveyard, and they either had blood-red eyes or baleful energy coiled around them. All of them pounced towards Lin Tian like a torrent of destruction. Lin Tian was not careless. He attacked with pure yang flame and supported the divining divine technique. He created all kinds of divining divine statues and crushed the immortal souls and malicious ghosts. He stepped out of the immortal devouring graveyard with the duality steps. Once you enter the graveyard, your soul will be buried inside. No one can escape. Feather Emperor's voice was cold. As soon as he finished speaking, the tombs in the immortal devouring graveyard glowed. More immortal souls and malicious ghosts crawled out. These immortal souls and malicious ghosts seemed to be real. They intertwined with terrifying fluctuations and sealed off the void. They instantly cut off Lin Tian's path. They roared and pressed down on Lin Tian. It was as if 10,000 souls from hell had charged out. This kind of attack was terrifying. Lin Tian's pure yang flame and divining divine technique were unable to block it. At this time, he also supported the four-symbol seal and created 6 Dao diagrams of the 4 symbols to protect himself. Clang! The sound of the sword was ear-piercing. He also used the High Heaven Sword Manual, slashing out golden sword rays that filled the sky. The golden sword rays attacked together with the pure yang flame and divining divine technique, crushing the immortal souls and malicious ghosts in the blink of an eye. He used the duality steps and arrived at the edge of the immortal devouring graveyard in the blink of an eye. He stepped out of the graveyard. At this moment, streaks of blood-red patterns appeared in the void. A powerful enchantment appeared at the edge of the burial ground and instantly knocked him away. At the same time, a giant bone claw rose from the ground and landed on his body like a heavenly treasure. With a bang, he was sent flying, and his body immediately felt waves of intense pain. Master! In the distance, Tu Xianxian couldn't help but cry out. The disciples of the Celestial Feather Divine Sect were all excited and could not help but clench their fists. Fight against the Emperor of Feathers. You are courting death, someone said. In the immortal devouring graveyard, Lin Tian steadied himself and unleashed all kinds of divine arts to shatter the immortal souls and evil ghosts. He tried to rush out again, but this time, he slammed into the blood-red boundary at the edge of the graveyard. A terrifying force fell on him and corroded his flesh like the corpse poison of an emperor. His clothes were torn apart as well. The Emperor of Feathers snorted, "I told you before. Once you enter the immortal devouring graveyard, your soul will be buried inside. No one can escape." The immortal devouring graveyard was one of his innate divine arts. When unleashed with his Emperor Realm cultivation, it was extremely terrifying. He looked at Lin Tian in the graveyard and raised his hand to form a seal. The third vertical eye between his brows intertwined with an even thicker divine light. Suddenly, the immortal devouring graveyard shook and became even more terrifying. The immortal souls and malicious ghosts inside roared and attacked Lin Tian fearlessly like half-step Emperor Realm Masters. They crushed the void and corroded everything. Lin Tian used the 4-symbol seal to protect himself. He wielded the pure yang flames, heaven's evolving divine arts, and heaven's sword scripture to shatter the immortal souls and malicious ghosts. However, even more immortal souls and malicious ghosts crawled out from the graves in the graveyard. It was extremely terrifying. These immortal souls and malicious ghosts were very terrifying. They seemed to be real, but also seemed to be formed by Tao. They charged at Lin Tian in a dense pack. Some immortal souls and malicious ghosts broke through Lin Tian's killing divine flames and pounced on him, biting him. With a ripping sound, a piece of flesh was bitten off of his shoulder, and bright red blood immediately flowed down. His expression was cold. His body shook and golden divine light shone, instantly shattering the immortal souls and malicious ghosts that pounced on him. Clang! He wielded the heaven sword scripture and formed a sword storm, directly crushing all the immortal souls and malicious ghosts within a dozen feet of him. Walala! At this moment, the sound of metal chains colliding could be heard. Suddenly, dense chains appeared in the graveyard. These chains were blood red. They appeared out of nowhere like the soul-binding chains from hell, or like immortal devouring vipers. They attacked Lin Tian from every corner. They were very dense and very hard. In the blink of an eye, they trapped Lin Tian in an extremely small corner. Together with the immortal souls and malicious ghosts in the graveyard, they attacked from every corner and shattered the void. Poof! Lin Tian was immediately injured. Although he had the four-symbol seal to protect him, his abdomen was still pierced by a blood-red chain. Blood immediately dyed a large part of his clothes red. Foolish Middle-earth person, now you know how insignificant you are. You are nothing in front of Lord Feather Emperor. A disciple of the divine Feather sect sneered. In the distance, the white tiger and the two Xianxian were very worried. They looked anxiously at Lin Tian in the immortal devouring graveyard. However, although they were worried and anxious, they couldn't do anything. Because their cultivation was too low, they couldn't help. If they really rushed up, they would only be courting death and causing trouble for Lin Tian. Roar! In the immortal devouring graveyard, the immortal souls and malicious ghosts roared and roared. The bloody waves intertwined, and the aura was cold and terrifying. At the same time, the sound of metal chains rattling could be heard from time to time. The chains shook like poisonous dragons. Lin Tian was in the middle of it. He used all kinds of divine arts, but he was still injured from time to time. The surface of his body was dyed red by blood. This made him frown. He couldn't help but admit that Emperor Realm cultivators were really powerful and had all kinds of terrifying techniques. Clang! He swung the heaven-piercing sword Radiance and cut a blood-red chain into pieces. He swept away a group of malicious ghosts and immortal souls and moved dozens of feet away. However, in the blink of an eye, more malicious ghosts and immortal souls pounced on him. Moreover, the blood-red chains became denser and denser, sealing every inch of space around him. In my immortal devouring graveyard, you're running around pathetically. Then, you'll be devoured by the malicious ghosts and immortal souls, or your divine soul will be pierced by the chains. This is your fate, Feather Emperor said. His eyes were cold as he looked down at Lin Tian in the immortal devouring graveyard from the sky. He was like a high and mighty king. Lin Tian was in the immortal devouring graveyard. He glanced at Feather Emperor and slashed a large group of malicious ghosts and immortal souls with a sword, breaking dozens of chains. Don't be too complacent. His voice was indifferent. His eyes trembled slightly as he opened the delusion breaker divine eyes. In an instant, densely packed dragon tattoos appeared in his eyes, forming a ring of dragon tattoos on his pupils. Then, everything in this burial ground became incomparably clear in the blink of an eye. He could clearly see how each blood-red chain was formed. He could clearly see their attack trajectories, and the movements of the densely packed immortal souls and malicious ghosts immediately became incomparably slow. He scanned the surroundings with the delusion breaker divine eyes, moving among the ghosts and dodging the blood-red chains. He looked at the blood-red barrier at the edge of the immortal devouring graveyard. Dragon patterns intertwined in his eyes as he analyzed the structure and weaknesses of the barrier. Roar! The malicious ghosts in the sky roared as the blood-red chains attacked, covering every inch of the void. Lin Tian's expression was indifferent as he easily dodged them. None of the ghosts could get close to him, and none of the chains could hurt him. Suddenly, everyone in this place was moved. They naturally saw the change in Lin Tian. He became extremely calm, and the dense blood-red chains and bloody souls in the immortal devouring graveyard seemed to be non-existent to him. Feather Emperor was also very observant. His gaze landed on Lin Tian's eyes, and he was immediately moved. He instantly realized that these eyes were not ordinary. Lin Tian relied on these eyes to move calmly. Enough! Immortal souls moved together, buried 10,000 tombs together. Die! He shouted. He did not want to give Lin Tian a chance to delay any longer, so he directly used this innate ability to the limit. Suddenly, countless immortal souls and malicious ghosts rushed out from the immortal devouring graveyard. Tombs flew up, and chains crossed the sky. They intertwined into a destructive storm, truly sealing off the surrounding space, and pressed down on Lin Tian mightily. This kind of attack was terrifying. It did not leave any space for Lin Tian to dodge. It was a fatal attack. Lin Tian naturally felt the terror of this kind of attack, but his expression did not change at all. His delusion breaker divine eyes saw through everything and found the weakest point of this kind of attack. He directly held up the reincarnation diagram and rushed through it with the diagram. A crisp sound was heard. In just an instant, the boundless tombs, ghosts, and blood-red chains all collapsed. This is impossible. Feather Emperor's expression changed. He had activated the immortal devouring graveyard to the limit, but Lin Tian destroyed it in an instant. His face was full of disbelief. His gaze landed on the reincarnation diagram that Lin Tian held up. Then, his expression changed again. As an Emperor-level powerhouse, his eyesight was naturally not bad. He instantly felt the terror of the reincarnation diagram. At the same time, the other cultivators in this space were also moved. Their gazes were all attracted by the reincarnation diagram. This diagram seems a little scary. It feels like a perfect, great world. The white tiger's heart palpitated. At the same time, Tu Xianxian was also moved. Boom! In the immortal devouring graveyard, Lin Tian opened his delusion breaker divine eyes and held up the reincarnation diagram. At this moment, he emitted an extremely powerful and vast fluctuation, just like a sage king. In your words, it's almost enough. He looked at Emperor Yu and said. At this moment, his delusion breaker divine eyes saw through the weakest part of the immortal devouring graveyard. He took a step forward and pressed the reincarnation diagram of the king's territory forward. With a crisp sound, he used the delusion breaker divine eyes and the reincarnation diagram to attack and broke the enchantment of the immortal devouring graveyard, directly shattering the great mystical ability. Emperor Yu's expression changed. You whoosh! The sound of the air being torn apart sounded and interrupted him. Lin Tian shattered the great mystical ability of the immortal devouring graveyard and took a step forward. He instantly appeared beside Emperor Yu and pressed down with the reincarnation diagram. The reincarnation diagram was his king's territory and was extremely powerful. The vast and boundless light of the king's territory completely enveloped Emperor Yu and then crushed him into pieces. All of a sudden, the disciples of the divine feather sect and the other sects trembled. Even the second immortal master's expression changed drastically. Damned human, Emperor Yu roared. His divine soul wrapped around his broken flesh and blood and moved 1,000 feet away. He quickly reassembled his physical body 1,000 feet away. Lin Tian humphed and attacked mercilessly. He saw through everything with his delusion breaker divine eyes and forced himself to the front of Emperor Yu again. He attacked with the reincarnation diagram again and also summoned his nameless Great Tao, which instantly converged into the Great Tao reincarnation diagram. Chapter 1365. Blood splashed everywhere. The Feather Emperor's body exploded twice in succession. Pieces of flesh and bones floated in the air. It was a ghastly sight. Lord Feather Emperor. The expressions of the immortal Feather Divine sect disciples changed. They couldn't help but cry out. Even the second immortal master was moved. His face turned pale. Ah! The Feather Emperor roared. Pieces of flesh and bones wriggled. In the blink of an eye, he reformed his body. His eyes were intertwined with wisps of blood. He was extremely shocked and furious. Lin Tianling humphed. The great Tao reincarnation diagram circled above his head and directly pressed down. Tao incinerates the 10 realms. The Feather Emperor shook the wings behind him, directly supporting a killing divine ability. More than 10 types of Great Tao laws appeared at this moment. Every type of Great Tao was extremely terrifying. They interweaved with endless killing radiance and blasted towards Lin Tianling. The void in all directions shattered with chi-chi-chi sounds. Chaotic light flowed out. Lin Tianling's expression was cold. His divine eyes of illusion saw through thousands of techniques. The great Tao reincarnation diagram shook, directly annihilating the Tao incinerates the 10 realms, great divine ability that the Feather Emperor activated. Then, it firmly landed on the Feather Emperor's body. With a pu sound, blood splashed out. The Feather Emperor exploded again. Human, the Feather Emperor roared. He had awakened in this world since the ancient era and cultivated innate divine abilities. He knew many secrets. In this world today, he was completely unrivaled. He didn't even put the most powerful church in the Western cultivation world in his eyes. However, now his body was actually being shattered again and again by a young cultivator from the Middle Earth. For him, this was simply the greatest humiliation. He roared angrily. All types of killing divine abilities were activated without mercy. He even drew on the starry sky's source energy to attack Lin Tianling. Immediately, this place turned into a sea of killing. All types of destructive light interweaved, shattering everything. If this secret realm space wasn't sturdy enough, it would have long been blasted apart. Lin Tianling opened his divine eyes of illusion. He stared at the divine abilities and strands of Tao radiance, using the great Tao reincarnation diagram to mercilessly attack. Boom! 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 In the blink of an eye, the two were deadlocked for several dozen breaths. Killing radiance and Tao radiance covered every inch of space. Then, also at this time, the great Tao reincarnation diagram once again landed on the Feather Emperor's body. Pooh! The Feather Emperor's body exploded for the 4th time, and blood filled the sky. At the same time, Lin Tian himself was also heavily injured. After all, he was facing the crazy attacks of an Emperor-level powerhouse. Even if someone as powerful as him had opened his divine eyes of delusion breaker, it was impossible for him to remain unscathed under such attacks. Damn it! The Feather Emperor roared, and his body reformed once again. Lin Tian's clothes were stained with blood, but his eyes were calm. He took a step forward, and the reincarnation diagram of the Great Path pressed down again. With a pu sound, Feather Emperor's body exploded for the 5th time. Ah! He roared, incomparably shocked and furious. He quickly condensed his flesh body. Lin Tian's gaze was indifferent. He had already used up too much of his divine power. At this moment, he put away the great Tao reincarnation portrait and used the duality steps to appear beside the Emperor of Feathers in an instant. His golden iron fists pressed down and landed on the body of the Emperor of Feathers. Bang! 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 The sound of fists landing on flesh reverberated in this space, and blood continued to fall from the sky. Suddenly, in this space, everyone was completely stunned. Lord Feather Emperor, defeated? How? How could this be? No, it's impossible. Lord Feather Emperor will definitely win. He won't really lose to the people of the Central Plains. This is impossible. The disciples of the Divine Feather Sect trembled, unwilling to accept this scene. The strongest ancestor of their Divine Feather Sect, the invincible existence that they revered like a god. How could he be defeated? In another direction, the White Tiger and Tu Xianxian were both surprised and delighted. At this moment, Lin Tian had already won. Boom! In front, the Emperor of Feathers roared. His entire body surged with divine light, and the gray wings behind him were like sharp blades that cut through the space. Lin Tian's expression was indifferent. He only punched out, and the golden light of his fist suppressed everything. After a moment, his fist landed on the Emperor of Feathers' face, smashing half of his face. Teeth mixed with blood floated in the air. The Emperor of Feathers was furious. Damn it! Bang! He had just spat out these 3 words when Lin Tian's fist arrived once again, directly smashing the latter's words back into his stomach, causing the other half of his face to shatter. It was a ghastly sight, causing one's scalp to involuntarily turn numb. Ah! He roared, and his injured body recovered in the blink of an eye. The veins in his eyes became even more bloodshot, and his eyes were filled with flames that seemed to have materialized. Lin Tian didn't say anything. He directly whipped out a leg and swept the Emperor of Feathers several thousand feet away. With a bang, the Emperor of Feathers crashed into a huge mountain, causing the mountain to shatter into pieces. Sand and gravel splattered all over the sky. He didn't stop at all. He pressed forward and waved the heaven-conquering sword scripture. Dense sword rays swept toward the Emperor of Feathers mercilessly. The Emperor of Feathers had just rushed out from the shattered mountain when he was pierced into a sieve by the dense sword rays. Lin Tian crossed over and slapped the Emperor of Feathers down into the void. Then, he descended and stepped on the Emperor of Feathers' chest. The Emperor of Feathers coughed out blood. More than half of his bones were crushed, and his hair was completely disheveled. He looked extremely miserable. "Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! I'll kill you! I'll kill you!" He roared furiously, and his eyes turned red at this moment. Then, in the next moment, surging divine light rushed out from his body, causing the void to rumble. In an instant, a unique and majestic force suddenly erupted. It was as if a volcano was erupting in his body, and a terrifying force intertwined with each other. Lin Tian's expression changed instantly. He clenched his fist and punched the Emperor of Feathers' chest. With a crack, the ground collapsed into pieces. The Emperor of Feathers coughed out blood again. However, the force that surged out from his body didn't weaken. Instead, it kept getting stronger and stronger, becoming more and more majestic. "You must die." His eyes were cold as he stared viciously at Lin Tian. Then, the force that surged out from his body became even more terrifying. The ground began to tremble, and the void distorted. Lin Tian stepped on the Emperor of Feathers. At this moment, he gradually felt his heart palpitate. It was as if a destructive beast was about to rush out from the Emperor of Feathers' body, and his internal organs couldn't help but feel cold. He didn't hesitate and stepped on the Emperor of Feathers' foot one last time, causing him to cough out blood again. Then he turned into a streak of golden lightning and left the Emperor of Feathers' side in the blink of an eye, retreating hundreds of meters away. Boom! Almost at the same time that he retreated, a ball of divine light rushed out from the Emperor of Feathers' body. There were arcs of lightning that interweaved around it like a heavenly tribulation. They directly shattered the void, and even the air was annihilated. This scene was a bit terrifying. That ball of divine light was a bit frightening, and even someone as powerful as Lin Tian couldn't help but feel his scalp go numb. "Human!" The Emperor of Feathers stood up. His eyes were cold, and the divine light floated above his head like the source of the creation of the heavens. Then, this ball of divine light gradually revealed its true form. It was a stone book that was about 2 inches tall. Strange patterns covered its surface, and they didn't look like formation patterns, nor did they look like Tao patterns. They were complex and profound. Lin Tian was immediately moved. This stone book made his heart tremble involuntarily. At the same time, the expression of the white tiger in the distance changed. This is that strange book that appeared under Mount Tai. Chapter 1366. Lin Tian's expression changed again when he heard the white tiger's words from afar. "Is this the stone book that appeared under Mount Tai back then?" Boom! Shocking divine energy surged, and it was terrifying. The 2-inch-tall stone book above the Emperor of Feathers' head trembled and was covered in strange patterns that were extremely complicated. At this moment, It was emitting extremely terrifying fluctuations as if it could easily destroy everything. It felt as if an eternal realm expert had arrived in person, making one's heart palpitate involuntarily. This old bird has refined and controlled this stone book? In the distance, the white tiger's expression changed again. It knew very well that this stone book was not simple and was extremely terrifying. Even Lin Tian's expression had become very heavy at this moment. Previously, he didn't care much about the emperor-level Emperor of Feathers. But now that he was facing this stone book, he couldn't help but feel a chill down his spine. Human, you're good. Very good. You actually forced this emperor to take out this divine treasure of the sect. I have to say, you're really worth killing. The Emperor of Feathers' eyes were cold. With the stone book above his head and divine light surrounding his body, he looked like an immortal king. The 2-inch-tall stone book was intertwined with strange divine energy, making him look like the ruler of heaven and earth at this moment. Who do you think you are to steal a divine object from the Central Plains to show off? Lin Tian's gaze was cold and indifferent. The Emperor of Feathers' eyes turned cold. You be Astra's starred. I'll kill you now. With a rumble, the void trembled, and the stone book above his head trembled slightly. Immediately, a divine light flew out and pressed straight towards Lin Tian. Everywhere it passed, the void collapsed, and the air was annihilated with a sizzling sound. Facing this ray of divine light, Lin Tian's heart couldn't help but tremble. He didn't dare to be careless and immediately took out the reincarnation diagram of the king's territory to face the divine light. In the blink of an eye, the two collided. Pushed, the reincarnation diagram trembled slightly and shattered in the blink of an eye like an ice cube meeting a raging fire. It disappeared without a trace. Lin Tian's expression changed. His monarch's region was actually destroyed so easily. Furthermore, the divine radiance that shot out from the stone book actually didn't disappear. Its might didn't decrease by much, and it continued to press down on him. He backed up his speed extremely fast, avoiding this streak of divine radiance like a streak of lightning. Boom! Behind them, the divine radiance landed on a large mountain, directly turning the mountain into ashes. A huge black hole appeared on the surface of the earth. It was impossible to see the bottom, and it was unknown how deep it was. It had to be said that this might was somewhat terrifying, causing all the cultivators here to involuntarily tremble. So scary. Lord Feather Emperor actually has such an invincible divine treasure. As expected of the Feather Emperor, many disciples of the divine Feather Divine sect were exhilarated. In a place further away, the second immortal master, who also had gray wings on his back like the Feather Emperor, had a much calmer expression because this stone book was obtained from Mount Tai in the central continent by him, the deceased third immortal master, and the Feather Emperor. It took a lot of effort for the Emperor-level Feather Emperor to imprint a trace of divine consciousness on it, allowing him to barely control it. He had already seen the power of this stone book more than once. It was extremely terrifying and almost had the power to shake the world. Lin Tian stood in the distance and looked at the stone book above the Feather Emperor's head. The patterns on it were dense and complicated, and they didn't look like formation patterns or Tao patterns. Strands of divine radiance intertwined, making his heart tremble involuntarily. This feeling, he frowned, and a strange light flashed in his eyes. This feeling was very similar to the one he felt when he was near Mount Tai. Human, are you afraid? Where did your aura go? A cold voice sounded. The 2-inch-tall stone book above the Feather Emperor's head was like a god. The aura outside his body moved, and another strange divine light shot out from the stone book, shooting straight at Lin Tian. Lin Tian's spiritual awareness was extraordinary, and he had opened his delusion breaker, divine eye. He naturally felt the terror of this divine light and knew that he couldn't fight it head-on. He didn't want to fight it head-on, and he quickly dodged. He was extremely fast, and as he moved, he left streaks of golden afterimages in the void as he dodged the divine light. With a boom, the divine light landed in a big lake in the distance, causing the lake to collapse instantly. All the water evaporated in an instant, and white smoke intertwined. Not bad. You're very fast. Let's see how long you can last. The Feather Emperor said coldly. As he spoke, the stone book above his head vibrated again. This time, dozens of divine lights rushed out, shooting at Lin Tian quickly. Moreover, the speed of these divine lights became faster, and their powerful aura sealed the surrounding space, attacking Lin Tian from every corner. Lin Tian frowned and didn't dare to be careless. He used the 9th level of the yin and yang steps to dodge the strange divine lights from the stone book. The Feather Emperor's eyes were cold. Very good, continue. As his words fell, the stone book vibrated, and more divine lights flew out. In the blink of an eye, more than 100 divine lights from the stone book rushed at Lin Tian. Lin Tian's spiritual awareness was very strong, and his delusion breaker divine, I could see through everything. He quickly dodged the divine lights from the stone book, and he used his powerful magic to resist them. However, the divine lights from the stone book were really terrifying. As the lights intertwined, they sealed the void and suppressed everything. Even with Lin Tian's powerful spiritual awareness and his delusion breaker divine eye, as time passed, his dodging gradually became more and more difficult. Puff! A divine light from the stone book pierced his chest, and he was instantly sent flying. Masters! In the distance, Tu Xinqian's expression changed, and he couldn't help but cry out. Lin Tian was sent flying, and blood flowed out of his mouth. His internal organs were in intense pain, and even the flow of divine power in his body became sluggish at this moment, as if it was about to solidify. At the same time, he felt his heart tremble again, and it was much stronger than before. It was very familiar. That's right, it's the same feeling as when I first approached Mount Tai. He frowned. This trembling feeling seemed to be of the same origin as the trembling feeling left by the main peak divine charm left behind by Mount Tai. Boom! The space shook because of the divine power in his chest, and an oppressive aura began to emerge. Above the Feather Emperor's head, the stone book that was about 2 inches tall became extremely hot, and the complicated patterns on it shone brightly. In the blink of an eye, it seemed to have turned into a dazzling sun, and terrifying waves spread out like water ripples. Following the appearance of this aura, everyone in this space immediately trembled, and their expressions changed greatly. This aura was frighteningly frightening. The game of hide-and-seek ends here. I'll end you immediately. The Feather Emperor stared at Lin Tian, and his voice was cold, as if he was looking down on Lin Tian like an emperor. He raised his hand and formed a few seals. Immediately, the stone book above his head moved, and with blazing divine light, it suppressed Lin Tian like a divine sun. Rumbling sounds could be heard as terrifying fluctuations intertwined around Lin Tian. Every inch of space around him was completely sealed off. This seal was shockingly powerful, and even Emperor Sky realm experts would have a hard time breaking it. So powerful. Lord Feather Emperor is invincible. This attack will kill this thief. The disciples of the Divine Feather Sect were excited. The White Tiger and Tu Xian turned pale. Under the pressure of the stone book, it was as if the starry sky had fallen, and the pressure was peerless. Lin Tian faced this attack head-on, so he naturally knew how terrifying it was better than anyone else. It made his internal organs feel like they were about to split open, and his origin and divine soul were trembling violently. However, at this moment, he calmed down, and wisps of light interweaved in the depths of his eyes. It has the same origin as Mount Tai's divine charm, so it was born from Mount Tai? The divine charm left behind by Mount Tai might be able to affect it. He muttered to himself. Facing the pressure of the stone book, he did not dodge, nor did he resist. Instead, he quickly recalled the divine charm of Mount Tai that he had felt and comprehended at Mount Tai, and the memories of the divine charm in his body began to awaken. After that, he quickly called out the strand of Mount Tai's divine charm that he had comprehended and fused with before from his flesh and blood. There was no terrifying fluctuation, nor was there any form visible to the naked eye. It quickly covered every corner of his body, causing the golden divine light outside his body to gradually become thicker and thicker, causing his own aura to become much calmer than before. Suddenly, the stone book that was pressing down on him trembled, and its downward momentum was forcefully stopped, as if it had sensed something. This caused his eyes to flash. As expected, the divine charm left behind by Mount Tai could affect this stone book. At the same time, the Feather Emperor's expression changed. What's going on? He controlled the stone book and left his divine sense imprint on it. At this moment, he was pressing down on Lin Tian, but the stone book actually stopped on its own, as if it was affected by something. Moreover, the other people in this space were also shocked. That old bird took out the stone book, and it can't be pressed down? The white tiger was shocked. Well, what is affecting it? Tu Xianxian was also shocked. She was talented and intelligent, and facing such a scene, she naturally saw a trace of strangeness. The Feather Emperor stared at the stone book. Although he did not know why the stone book suddenly stopped, he knew that it must have something to do with Lin Tian. This caused his expression to become even colder, and the divine power in his body surged violently toward the stone book. He used the divine sense imprint on it to activate the stone book, and his voice was cold and cruel. Kill him! The stone book trembled violently, and at this moment, it moved again. Although it was slow, it pressed down on Lin Tian again. A part of the void was directly annihilated. Lin Tian's eyes were cold. He had once fused with the divine charm left behind by Mount Tai in the secret space of Mount Tai, and a trace of that divine charm was directly imprinted in his flesh and sea of consciousness. At this time, that trace of divine charm was even more clearly summoned. Immediately, the stone book that was pressing down on him shook again and stopped again. This is a divine object that belongs to my Middle Earth. You can't hold it tightly. His voice was cold. Then, he circulated the Heart of Sun Sutra faster, and activated the divine charm of Mount Tai that had fused with his body even more clearly. Immediately, the stone book that had stopped trembled violently, and all kinds of patterns on it shone. Then, it slowly moved toward him. However, this time, it was different from the previous time when the stone book pressed down on him under the Feather Emperor's control. This time, the stone book did not emit any terrifying fluctuations, and instead, it was like a wanderer reuniting with his family and wanted to go to his side. Chapter 1367. The stone book trembled. All kinds of patterns on its surface were shining, but they seemed extremely gentle. It was like a child who had finally seen its closest relative after a long time apart. It flew towards Lin Tian. Damn it, what did you do? Feather Emperor shouted angrily. This stone book was actually breaking free from his control. Lin Tian's expression was cold. He activated the strand of Mount Tai's divine charm that he had comprehended and merged with his body. Immediately, Shu flew towards him at an even faster speed. This made Feather Emperor's expression become even more unsightly. He was incomparably shocked and furious. "This is mine," he roared. He activated the divine power in his body, activating the divine sense imprint on the stone book. This made the stone book tremble again. It stopped flying towards Lin Tian. "Come back," he roared. At this time, he no longer wanted to use the stone book to kill Lin Tian. Moreover, it was very difficult to do so now. It was because the stone book was greatly affected by some external force at this time. It was very difficult for it to attack. At this time, he could only do his best to pull it back to his side. "Come back," he roared. As long as he pulled the stone book back to his side and controlled it with his divine sense, he believed that Lin Tian wouldn't be able to affect the stone book anymore. The stone book trembled greatly. It was because the divine sense imprint he had left on it started to float back towards him. Lin Tian clenched his teeth. The Heart Sutra of Sun operated even faster, causing the Mount Tai divine charm in his body to interweave even more fully. Then, in an instant, the stone book stopped floating towards Feather Emperor. It turned around and floated towards his side. Damn it! Feather Emperor roared angrily. He activated his divine power, using the divine sense imprint on the stone book to make the stone book float back again. Lin Tian naturally wouldn't show weakness. The Mount Tai divine charm in his body was displayed even more clearly. He forcefully seized the stone book. Immediately, the stone book trembled and started to leave Feather Emperor again. Such a scene caused everyone in the area to be shocked. That brat is fighting over the stone book with that old bird? How did he do it? That stone book seems to have been refined and controlled by that old bird. He can actually seize it by force? The white tiger's eyes widened. Wong! Up ahead, in the void, the stone book trembled with wong-wong sounds. The patterns on its surface shone, sometimes bright, sometimes dim. Lin Tian and the Feather Emperor stood facing each other. They were about 30 meters away from each other as they fought for the stone book with all their might. Between the two of them, one of them had fused with the aura of Mount Tai, which was almost the same as the stone book's aura, while the other had left a divine sense imprint on the stone book. They were completely evenly matched, causing the stone book to be in a deadlock in the middle. The buzzing vibrations caused the surrounding space to distort inch by inch and the air to be destroyed bit by bit. Enough! The Feather Emperor shouted in a low voice. This thing is mine. His gaze was cold as he formed a seal with one hand. Instantly, a strange wave of energy intertwined. After that, in this space, apart from the second immortal master, the other disciples of the divine feather sect all trembled. Their divine energy became chaotic, and they were unable to control it. All of you, become my power, he said. As soon as he finished speaking, a disciple of the divine feather sect suddenly exploded with a poof. The mist of blood directly floated to his side and directly merged into his body. After that, the aura that he exuded suddenly became stronger. Such a scene caused the disciples of the divine feather sect to change their expressions instantly. Lord Feather Emperor, what are you doing? Someone asked in a trembling voice. Among them, some exploded. Their blood and flesh essence fused into the mist of blood and were devoured by their ancestor Feather Emperor. Poof! 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 The mist of blood exploded one by one. In the blink of an eye, a few more disciples of the divine feather sect exploded. The mist of blood quickly rushed into the body of the Feather Emperor. The energy waves that the Feather Emperor exuded became stronger again. Lord Feather Emperor, stop! What are you doing? Aren't you going to lead us into the celestial realm? Why? Apart from the second immortal master, the rest of the disciples of the divine feather sect were terrified. The strongest ancestor of their sect, the person that they respected like a god, was actually devouring them to increase his power. Led you into the celestial realm? What a joke! Do you think you are qualified to enter the celestial realm? You are just pawns. In the future, you will become sacrifices for the sacred sacrifice in Middle-earth. The Feather Emperor's eyes were cold. Since you are going to die anyway, you can become my strength now. The ancient scriptures that the disciples of the divine feather sect cultivated were all taught by him. He had tampered with the scriptures and left his own imprint on them. At this moment, he was using this imprint to explode the disciples of the divine feather sect and devour their blood and flesh essence to increase his own power. Apart from the second immortal master, who had wings on his back like the Feather Emperor, the rest of the disciples of the divine feather sect were terrified. At the same time, the white tiger and two Xianxian were also shocked. From the conversation between the disciples of the divine feather sect and the Feather Emperor, they caught two words: celestial realm. Celestial realm? Celestial realm? A super ancient celestial realm that is above the starry sky. That thing exists. The white tiger's eyes widened. Even Lin Tian, who was fighting with the Feather Emperor for the stone book, was shocked when he caught the word celestial realm. Celestial realm, this, his eyes narrowed. The celestial realm was also known as the immortal realm. This term was not unfamiliar to ordinary mortals. Legend had it that it was a world where the immortals lived. It was vast and boundless, even vaster than the starry sky and the universe. He had always thought that this was a fictional world made up by the common people. However, after listening to the conversation between the disciples of the Divine Feather Sect and the Feather Emperor, he realized that the celestial realm was a real world. The long-cherished wish of this lineage was to enter the celestial realm. Their lineage seemed to have been working hard to enter the celestial realm. This time, they had schemed to lead the cultivators of the major forces in the west to invade the central plains in the east. Puff, puff, puff. Chaotic divine power intertwined around the bodies of the disciples of the Divine Feather Sect. One by one, the disciples of the Divine Feather Sect exploded. After they exploded, the blood mist intertwined with the majestic essence was devoured by the Feather Emperor in the blink of an eye. No, no, no. The disciples of the Divine Feather Sect trembled and retreated in panic. All these years, they had been loyal to the Feather Emperor for their long-cherished wish to enter the celestial realm. They had worked hard and hoped that the Feather Emperor would lead them into the celestial realm. However, they realized that the Feather Emperor, whom they respected like a god, had never intended to bring them into the celestial realm. He had only used them as pawns. You have been using us all this time. The sect master of the Divine Feather Sect trembled. At this moment, his divine power was in a mess. He tried to suppress it but realized that he could not and was about to explode. Being used by me is your value, the Feather Emperor said coldly. Your techniques were passed down by me. Without me, how could you have achieved what you have today? Dying for me is the embodiment of your value. It is your honor. As soon as the Feather Emperor finished speaking, the disciples of the Divine Feather Sect trembled even more violently. The divine power outside their bodies became even more chaotic. Puff, puff, puff. Blood mist splattered in the air like beautiful blood-red flowers. In the blink of an eye, other than the Feather Emperor and the second deity master, who also had gray wings, the rest of the disciples of the Divine Feather Sect exploded in the secret realm of the Divine Feather Sect. Gulp! The blood mist surged and quickly drifted toward the Feather Emperor. In the blink of an eye, it entered his body. The aura outside his body suddenly increased exponentially. F***CK. This son of AB***TSH is so scheming and vicious. The white tiger stared with his eyes wide open. Lin Tian's body was trembling. At this moment, he was using the divine charm of Mount Tai in his body to snatch the stone book from the Feather Emperor. He did not have much divine power left and had suffered serious injuries. On the other hand, the Feather Emperor had recovered to his peak after devouring the flesh and blood of the disciples of the Divine Feather Sect. In fact, he was even stronger than before. This made it difficult for Lin Tian to pull the stone book. The difference in strength between the two of them widened in the blink of an eye. The Feather Emperor's body was intertwined with divine radiance. In the blink of an eye, he had refined the flesh and blood essence of the disciples of the Divine Feather Sect. At this moment, he looked at Lin Tiandao and said, I have already said that the stone book belongs to me. You are dreaming if you want to snatch it away. He looked at Lin Tian with cold eyes. Majestic energy surged and caused the stone book to float back to him. You have completely ruined my plan to lure the Western cultivators into the Central Plains. However, it doesn't matter. I chose to do this in the beginning because I did not want to be too troublesome. Now it seems that there is no other way. I will personally take action and suppress all the cultivators and bring them to the Central Plains as sacrificial offerings. I will use their soul power as a sacrifice to open the path to the immortal realm. He looked at Lin Tian and said coldly, As for you, I will not change my words. This will be your burial ground. Boom! Divine radiance surged in his body and the stone book floated back to him. Lin Tian gritted his teeth and used the divine charm of Mount Tai in his body to push the Sun Heart Sutra to the limit to pull the stone book. However, at this moment, after the Feather Emperor had devoured the flesh and blood essence of the disciples of the Divine Feather Sect, his strength had recovered, and he had become even stronger. He no longer had the ability to compete with the Feather Emperor for the Stone Book. The difference in strength between the two of them was too great. There is brilliant light and turbid darkness in the world. May the people lend their divine power to break the turbid darkness with brilliant light. Suddenly, an old voice sounded in this space. An old man in a robe appeared in this space. His expression was solemn. Waves of pure white divine radiance surged in from outside this space, carrying with them a divine aura. Lin Tian tilted his head and saw the old man in a robe. The White Tiger and Tu Xianxian also saw each other. The Pope of the Vatican? The White Tiger was shocked. Pure white divine radiance intertwined around the Pope's body. There was no terrifying aura, but it seemed very vast. Friend from the Central Plains, please accept this power and destroy the darkness. The Pope looked at Lin Tiandao. As he spoke, he waved his right hand, and the pure, white divine radiance around his body surged. In the blink of an eye, it crossed hundreds of thousands of feet and rushed to Lin Tian's side. It engulfed Lin Tian in an instant, and then entered Lin Tian's body. This kind of light was filled with holiness and vastness, causing Lin Tian to tremble slightly. His injuries and divine power recovered rapidly. In the blink of an eye, his injuries were healed. His essence, energy, and spirit were restored to their peak. His combat strength had become even stronger, just like the Feather Emperor. This caused him to tremble, not only because he felt that the light was powerful and extraordinary, but also because this light was very familiar to him. When he was in the 10-direction sky domain, he had cultivated with this pure white light twice. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.